The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Here we go. Let's have them all up. 0344 499 1000 if you want to give us a call. That is the new... Is that the single, Jake, from My Life Story?
Well, in this day and age, you release singles every other week when you put an album out, but that was the last single, yes, that's the digital
Come
single.
a little bit closer to our crappy mics.
We'll get all sexy.
Get nice and sexy. Get intimate with me. Because Jake Shillingford, My Life Story, we've been banging on about My Life Story for... I don't know, Catherine, the last 6 months or so. It feels like I'm a huge fan. You are vaguely aware.
Yeah, I'm new.
You're new, and I will just keep
Is
going.
that because you've made her?
Yes, it
I
is.
think it might be.
Yes, it is. I keep going, oh, listen to this one. Oh, listen. And she's like, yes, it's great. Yeah, okay, it's good. Right, okay. But so we've been playing you a lot, man. And I tell you why. It's because we had the lovely Jim Bob from Carter in talking about his book, who's just the most delightful gentleman out there. And my life story, your band, you got a mention in the book. Now, I was a huge fan, right? I was a huge fan. Never came and saw you live, but I had all the albums, and there was a rumour when I was at college that one of my friends knew you, and you were going to be at a party. Jake, oh yeah, the guy from My Life Story is going to be at a party. And I didn't go because I was a bit nervous. I don't think you turned up. Anyway.
Do you think they really knew him?
I don't know. Did you know a girl called Ronnie from Middlesex University? You won't remember, it's 20 years ago. So I'd forgotten about you, Jake, if I'm completely honest. In this fickle world of pop, I'd forgotten, and
I prevented you from going to a party. I don't blame you.
You scumbag. And I thought, well, I wonder, a few years down the line, I wonder how these records are going to sound. Because a lot of stuff from the mid-90s, some of it doesn't stand up very well. But man alive, yours is deliciously swaggering in its arrogance. It's wonderful, man. The stuff still stands up.
Thank you.
And now you've got a new album out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the new album. Let's sell this bad boy, because it's great. It's absolutely brilliant. It's coming out next week, is it? Or is
coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Go on, what's it called?
It's called World Citizen.
Yeah.
And it's 19 years since we released an album, but ironically, I wrote all the lyrics in June.
What, of this year?
Yeah.
Well, geez, come on, man. What have you been doing?
So, well, okay, so, alright, we'll go back to what I've been doing. So what I have been doing, I still do music.
Yeah.
I've been mainly composing with a wonderful songwriter called Nick Evans. And the two of us write music for telly, film, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we've been dealing, we work with, I mean, we had music on like Homeland, through Showtime in the US. We had our first feature film called Bloodfest, which is, I mean, composing music for a horror movie is something, just for the listeners, obviously, you don't just write a piece of music, you have to relive the clips over and over and over again, and poor Nick had to sort of subject himself to the, you know, heads being decapitated or over and over. It's like something out of Clockwork Orange, you know. So we composed this, our first feature film, Bloodfest, for Rooster Teeth, which was last year.
Oh, we're big fans of Rooster Teeth.
Oh my God.
They do a brilliant series called
That was a proper woo. That was like in stereo.
What's the name of it? What's his name? The guy that we've been on the show.
Owen Egerton?
Josh
Flanagan.
Josh Flanagan.
Okay.
They do a brilliant show called Day 5, where there's a deadly virus out there, and if you fall asleep, you die.
Yeah.
And it's day 5 of that. So Rooster Teeth are great people to work with.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember, but Rooster Teeth, the way they started was that was it Halo? They used a game as the footage. So they
made little films.
The little figures,
yeah.
and they were the actors in there. What an amazing!
It's a really good attitude with that company. It's really creative. Isn't that funny? It all links up.
Our first feature film.
Yeah.
Our first one. Done it.
And it's instrumentals, is it, for the film?
For the film, yeah.
How do you do that? Is it that thing where you're sat there, like, playing guitar and it's got to hit it at the right time, or
is it like with the old-fashioned way they used to do television theme tunes, like Blind Date, Blind, you know, like, they used to sing that, didn't they?
They did used to sing, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
So do you do like, now I'm gonna
cut
your
off
hair?
Which is it, Jake? Tell us. We need to know.
I think I might know.
I just love the idea of sort of like, like also Bon Tempi organ 1970s music all over a horror film. In fact, Rooster Teeth would have loved that.
Yeah, of course they would have done.
No, I think the brief with that one was sort of quite a sort of John Carpenter, you know, kind of score. So, and yeah, you know, there's, listeners will know, some will know, leitmotif, which is, you know, a recurring theme. Just like a chorus in a pop song, really. So, you know, yeah, we worked on sort of recurring themes throughout the film, and that was a really great thing. So we've done a number of stuff like that. We've got what's the thing we've just got on the trailer? That's for Farming.
That's the voice of Natasha, Jake's manager, who is in the studio but does not want to be on the radio, and you've just forced her to be on the radio.
And she said the word farming.
Farming. There you go. You can chip in any time you want. I know you don't want to, but any time you want, you're welcome. Just shout out or push him out the way when he starts gabbing on too much.
Yeah, and I will do that. Farming, we've just composed the trailer for Farming, which is the new Skinhead, I don't know if you know, it's a new film, all about skinheads in Tilbury.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a bit like, Made in Britain, you know that?
Yeah.
Is that right?
This is
Made in
England.
This is England,
yes.
Sorry. Made in Britain is written on the back of my shirt.
In Marks and Spencer shirts, yes.
Yeah.
Not saying your shirts are from Marks and Spencer's, I'm talking St Michael's generally. It's a very nice shirt you've got on. I'd expect nothing less.
So we're so used to sort of writing for clients. I think, you know, and it's been a long time, sort of 6 or 7 years. And I think it sort of came to a point where Nick and I, well, first of all, you don't write lyrics when you're writing music for film and telly.
Right.
You know, and also you're interpreting a brief, so you're really trying to get in the head of the director or the producer. You're trying to translate, you know, what's going on in their synapses. They change their minds. You're going on a journey with them, and that, in a way, that is a very fulfilling thing. If you, you know, that thing. If you suddenly realise someone's dream, it's really, really rewarding. But of course, the other thing is, you know, I started off. You know, My Life Story actually started when I was. I came up with the name My Life Story when I was at an Icicle Works concert at the Marquee, and I think I was 16.
Wow.
And Ian McNabb said during a ballad, "Doesn't anybody want to hear My Life Story?" Because they were all going to the bar.
There you go.
And I thought that's a great name for a band.
Yeah.
But I was only a kid, so it's been going since then. So in my heart, I've always, you know, self-expression has been a really important thing. So I guess, you know, after we're grown up enough now to have our own studio. We're based in Brighton, and you know, we've got the bits and bobs. You know, we've still got a stylophone, an original Rolf Harris stylophone. In fact, we recorded stylophone on one of the tracks, and I reckon that it's only the second use of a stylophone in a commercially released record.
The other one, of course, being Catherine.
Space Oddity.
There we
Very
go.
good.
Well done. You see, yes.
What do I win?
You win the respect of 2 men.
Yeah, only one of which.
Can I trade it in?
Only one of which was clapping. That was me.
The new album is a joy. I was saying, you know, whenever a band, I like a lot of old bands, like Beach Boys and Monkees and all that, and whenever one of my bands, releases a new album after several years, there's always that hesitancy when you put the CD in, and you go, oh, is this going to be a stinker? And sometimes they're stinkers. Such a relief that yours is brilliant. That World Citizen is the title, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good. And I mean, it's a My Life Story record. Again, you know, 19 years later,
What are the bits? So, I mean, you know, you've been really honest.
Yes.
So you're a fan. You know, what are the bits to you?
Yeah.
That are the My Life Story bits? Because I don't know anymore.
The lyrics. I'm going to misquote this slightly, but you look just like a million filthy, dirty dollars stood in front of me. As I know I've got that slightly wrong, but that's just. I tell you what's in there as well, and it's so nice to meet you because you're quite down to earth, right? You're a nice guy.
Okay.
But in a lot of the music, the earlier music more so, but there's still a bit of it there. There's a real cocky swagger.
Yeah.
See, there's a real arrogance.
Yeah.
And I was worried that arrogance was going to be. Was it ever you? Were you ever that arrogant?
No, I use it as a coping mechanism.
Really?
Yeah, because it's funny actually. There's, you know, the Britpop thing is all around us, isn't it? You know, there's all these reunion tours that are fantastic, and lots of bands are reforming to go back on tour. And so that, you know, there's a bit of a lot of young people getting into those groups. But when I cast my mind back, when I reminisce of those times, you know, I wasn't prepared for the kind of schoolboy bullying and just
from the other bands.
Yeah, of some other bands.
Yeah.
Not all, of course, not all of the other, but some. And it's funny because I'm in my 50s now, and I know a few reasonably famous people from other decades.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, we have a sort of chat about this thing, and I was talking to Steve Norman from Spandau Ballet, who actually played
on the album, isn't he?
Played on the album, and I love talking to him because Duran, Spandau Ballet, come on, dish the dirt. And he's like, I've got nothing to say. They're all my friends. We're really close friends. We've lived through a decade together, the highs and the lows, and we use television, and they were intelligent in the way that they used that, and I think. The books I've read about the Beatles and the Stones and all of
there was a rivalry, but there was also a friendship and a friendly competition. I've done that. We're going to do that.
Yeah, we're going to But when it came to Britpop, I promise you, like the life that I led through it, there was, there was no, it wasn't the whole generation taking on the world. It didn't feel like we were, it was a unified, even though that it was perceived in that way, and books are written in that way. It
wasn't a movement as such.
No, and I think that, and in a way, even in the movement, even the people that sort of, I have a lot of theories about this. I think one of the things about it was that, I don't think anybody believed in their wildest dreams that we would even sign to a major label. I'm not talking about just My Life Story, who signed to EMI, but all the other bands, I don't think because we were following on from all these indie bands, that had signed to Creation, that would have been the pinnacle, and then all these other sort of little, bedroom record labels. When the sort of, the floodgates open and we were all allowed to sign, My Life Story spent, it's a slight regret. People ask me if I have any regrets. We spent we never hit the million with EMI. We spent £900,000 in a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
You should have done another video for 100 grand or something.
Videos in 1996 were on average £80,000.
Isn't that amazing?
I live in Brighton, and a 3-bedroom terraced house.
Yeah.
One of the colourful ones, a really nice bit in the middle. At that time, I've done my research, they were the same price. So each video we did was a house.
And you'd have a lot more money now if you'd have bought...
we did 8 videos, so it's monopoly.
You'd have a street. And I don't need you to name any names, but I've heard this before.
Have you heard it? Have you honestly
I've heard that... Okay. I'm going to say Blur.
Yeah.
Were particularly...
Some of Blur.
There was... and I've heard this from a few people, but the most outstanding thing was when Keith Flint from The Prodigy passed away. Yeah. And James Blunt, of all people, came out and said, I was at an awards ceremony and Damon Albarn said he'd rather eat dog shit or something than, and somebody else from this band said this, and no one would want him to be on the stage with me. And Keith Flint from The Prodigy shook my hand and went and bought me a drink and said, well done, son, you're doing well. Something like that. And I've heard a few stories about some members from Blur. There was a lot. We don't have to go into too many details. I was on TV in the late 90s and the early 2000s. There was a lot of cocaine going around, and I think that is such a non-creative, selfish drug. It makes people very, very mean. And I'm not asking for your personal history, but in the 90s in pop, there was a lot of that flying around. I wonder if that was part of the problem.
I think there's probably a mixture of a lot of things. Insecurity from a lot of people. But I guess my general point is that, to answer your initial question, is that, now I'm not really part of that. I think my point was that I was never prepared for it. So it was always a shock for me.
Disappointing, I'd imagine.
Yeah. There was a funny moment. I was asked to DJ for a Britpop club called Star Shaped, and they said, look, it's this really funny story. They're really sweet. I love them. So I thought that I was going to bring some records that shaped, because I didn't buy any records during the Britpop era because I was in a band getting on with it. And they were like, yeah, you're gonna play some like Britpop records. I was like, I don't have any, I just don't have any. And so I'm there with me Scott Walker's on one arm and me Julian Cope's on the other, and they were like, no, they had this sort of fairly strict guidelines. I think it starts at, Last of the Famous International Playboys by Morrissey, I think to them is the earliest record. Okay. And then it sort of goes into Embrace, I think. So it sort of goes, that arc.
Yes.
And, So anyway, I couldn't bring any of my records, so I did a deal with him. I said, look, okay, I'll use your record collection, but I'm only going to play records of the bands that were nice to My Life Story.
That's brilliant.
It didn't last.
20-minute set. Okay, we finished, guys.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. We're talking about the new album as well. And by the way, the song we played at the start, This Is How Bad I Am, someone's just tweeted. What was the song called? No Filter. What else makes it a My Life Story album? It's lovely hearing your voice again. It's lovely hearing that voice with these very clever lyrics. Of course, I can't quote any now, but there's some wonderful, little bits of wordplay in there. There's the bleakness of it. There's a song, and the Overwinter we talked about is the great Lost Bond theme. My God, it's bleak, but it's beautiful with the strings. You were saying that was a full 40-piece orchestra.
Only you're the first person to mention that song.
Really?
In the summer. I mean, we're sort of technically a bit in the summer. But I like the fact that you picked up on that, because, that's the last track on the album, and in some ways it's, I mean, some people have, described it as a very positive up record, that last record is, it describes, hopefully, in some ways it describes that feeling you get as the winter sort of descends upon you and you start to hunker down. And for me, that's when I really start addressing my emotions and stuff like that. So I think that's why it's quite an emotive song. I'm glad you picked up on that.
It's lovely. And it's the orchestra, of course, and it's a bigger orchestra than you would know. How did you lot make any money? Because there were so many of you in that in My Life Story, particularly at the start. I know it kind of pared down, scaled back a little bit as you went on. But how many were in the band in the early days?
So we always was 11. It was 11. And then we would add, depending, so we would bring in flute players and all sorts, and double up on strings. But it was, ostensibly a string quartet, a brass section, and then keyboards, bass, drums, guitar, vocals. And that was the idea. So when we signed to EMI, we just said, look, we're not interested in, going in the back of a van and touring around the UK. This is it. Yeah. Take it or leave it. That gives you an idea of that confidence, that era, which you were alluding to. Take it or leave it. When we would do one show in New York, one show in LA, and then the world, of course it didn't quite work out like that, but it was, in a way, I wouldn't have had it any other way. My Life Story, that bravado and cockiness that it had to be like that because of what was going out. Everything was hyper sort of sensitized, wasn't it? The whole of that era.
You were the perfect pop star. Is it the White Room? There's that beautiful footage of you, beautiful young man, that bleach blonde hair, the silver suit. Oh God, man. It's just a stunning performance. And interesting to say that cockiness, I don't use the arrogance as an insult. It is a beautiful thing to watch. I want my pop stars to have something about them. I don't, the whole shoegazing thing I never got. I wanted a show from my musicians. But you're saying that was hiding what? Shyness? Lack of confidence?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
But then I learned through that character to become the person I am now.
Right.
So it really helped me.
Yeah.
But absolutely. My heroes were, Adamant and, growing up. And all the glam rock, some glam rock artists we're not allowed to talk about.
We talk about Glitter on this show.
Okay, I loved him.
Yeah, no, I did as well. I think, obviously his heinous crimes of child rape to one side. As much as you can. I know it's difficult to kind of just push that to the side. But we talk a lot about Glitter because I love Gary Glitter. I saw him live so many times. And he was an amazing performer.
It's a funny one. It's a bit like say what you like about Hitler, but he had quite a good haircut.
Did you see Hitler's last... This is going off on a tangent. This is how we're going to sell the album. Hitler's last remaining relative. Have you seen this? His last living relative.
In Argentina? Is it that one?
I'm not sure. He's just been convicted of being a paedophile. Those Hitlers, huh? Those Hitlers. It's incredible. There's one song on the album. I'm terrible with song names. And there's one song, I might have to just play through all of them in a second, and also mine are in a really funny order from where I downloaded it from, that sounds like the lost great Ultravox song.
I think that's probably The Rose the Sun.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's like Ultravox. It's brilliant. It's got that the drum sound throughout the album is amazing. We'll talk about that in a second.
Oh, great.
But it's got that kind of 80s sort of stifled drum. It's got those synths, and that's quite unusual for a My Life Story track. That kind of vibe. How did you come about? Why did you do that?
Well, actually, after My Life Story split up in the year 2000, I released 2 records under the name Exile Inside.
Yeah.
Which were with other composers, but I suppose ostensibly a solo project. And the idea for those was My Life was big, expensive, orchestration, Jimmy Webb, James Bond, all that sort of stuff. And then I wanted to just really reduce it and make it a small thing. And so I really got into krautrock and electronica again. I mean, I was always into that. I mean, I'm born in Southend-on-Sea, and my father, actually my father and my mother taught at Southend Tech. My dad taught Dave Garn,
Wow, yeah.
So, and, there was various babysitters of that era when I was a little kid that were proper, like Alison Moyet with all these sort of proper...
Alison Moyet was your babysitter?
Well, apparently she babysitted me once, but I can't verify it.
Just say it. This is the era of fake news. Doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Yeah, I don't think she was now, actually.
Oh, no.
So it's one of those. But, so I had, so I was really exposed to all that electronic stuff when I was a kid. And I think that with this album, a lot of what I'm trying to do is trying to create quite big soundscapes.
Yeah.
And I think that if you use a little bit of synthesis in it sort of, there's something about the roboticness of it that makes things sound really austere and sort of grand, particularly when you put strings on the top of it. And I sometimes think of my heroes sort of Jimmy Webb or I don't know, or any of those sort of amazing Reg Guest and Wally Stott who did all the Scott Walker stuff, and how they would have embraced synthesizers in with those great grand orchestrations, because I think there's a place for both of them. In fact, Depeche Mode, I think, use orchestras really well with synths. I think I just love that combination of man versus machine.
Let's talk Jimmy Webb. We've had Jimmy Webb on the show.
I've met him once.
Really?
The highlight of a
Let's talk Jimmy Webb in a second. I've got to do a break. This is the Late Night Alternative. We've got Jake Shillingford, My Life Story. There's a new album out. It's a joy. We're going to give you all the places you can order it and downloads and all of that stuff. Now you can buy it on vinyl as well. This is what we're talking about, actual records. This is Talk Radio.
Unmissable late night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain Lee.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Go. I'm not going to give out the number because I'm enjoying. We'll introduce you to Nigel from Maidstone. Nigel's a singer as well. You might, if we're lucky,
and songsmith.
And he's a songsmith, isn't he? He might sing for us.
Right.
We've got Jake Shillingford here. My Life Story. There is a new album out, World Citizen. Let's do the business, and we're going to tweet the hell out of this as well. Where is the best place? Where do you get more money in your pocket if people go and buy it?
Come to our website, mylifestory.band.
There you go.
Done.
Mylifestory.band, and there's CD, there's vinyl.
Everything.
You're not buying into that cassette nonsense, are you?
Don't.
Good.
No.
Good. That's a fad. The cassettes were always crap. They were good for making mixtapes for your mates, but you'd never go and buy an album on a cassette.
No. End of. I've got nothing else to say.
It's done.
It's so hipster.
I had a box full.
I made you a mixtape about 6 months ago.
I was thrilled. You didn't use the stickers. That was.
I didn't use the stickers. I'm not very good at decorating the box, but I like making.
It's part of the thing, isn't it? You've got to decorate
What do you think? Do you think when you received a mixtape? I made mixtapes for girls.
I bet you did. I bet you were good at it as well.
Oh, I was really good.
Yeah, the master.
I spent ages on it. I really did. I probably spent more time on that than on the girl. As the receiver of a mixtape.
Yeah.
Do you think you got as much pleasure and satisfaction as myself or Iain making it as a super
question? That's good. There was a lot of passion. It was like making an album almost. This one's got no, this one's too fast. I need to break it up with this.
Well, in my case, when I was a kid, I don't know how much thought they put into them, the lads that I was going out with. Some of them had, there were some weird choices in the middle of it. I go, I think he might like me. I think he might like me. Oh God, what's he put that in there for? But it was always a pleasure to receive. It was always interesting, little insight into someone's mind.
You got to do a couple of juicy ones that you know they're going to like before you go a little bit avant-garde, a little bit, this is taking a risk, and then a couple of the ones they're going to like again, and then, all right, well, this is going to be a real tester. If she points out this one, I know that we've got a connection.
Yeah, if it's just a straight, like, recording of someone's album, that's crap out.
No. I always put a real, like, a nice schmaltzy ballad, a little sexy one in there.
Yeah. What would be your sexy choice when you were making mixtapes back in the day?
Not Marvin Gaye, that's too obvious.
So it's too obvious.
Sexual Healing, you're not going to whack that on the end,
No,
are
it's
you?
too obvious.
My favourite song of all time is Sexual Healing. Give the tape to the girl, 14 years old.
What's he trying to say?
Yeah, that'd be the one where it...
What? I wonder what the next song is. Oh, it's Sexual Healing again.
The 12-inch remix. Now, what is this? You've been nudged, you've got to tell us.
Okay.
Something.
We've got an exclusive for you.
Oh, here we go. This is exciting.
And we need your listeners to help us. This is honestly all true. Yeah. I'm not going, when I say I'm not going to, I'm going to try not to embellish this story.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking earlier about Exile Inside, which was this sort of solo project that I did after My Life Story.
Yeah.
So there's 2 albums by Exile Inside. The first album, I was recording it, and I was recording it actually in the same place as Mark Armand, big hero and friend, and supporter of the band as well. Mark recommended a studio in Greek Street, above a brothel, which is standard Mark Armand. Fair enough?
Expect nothing less from Mr. Almond.
Exactly. So above this brothel was a recording studio, quite near the Gay Hussar. Do you know that?
I do know. Yeah, I do know. Yeah.
So we were. Oh, I always love that name for a bar. So we were recording the album up there, and it was a bit smelly going. It smelt of urine coming in.
Okay, it could have been worse.
No, it smelled of urine.
Smell something else. Okay.
No, it didn't smell good. So anyway. I can't believe I'm going to tell you the story. This is the first time. I'm in the studio with Jake from My Life Story. This is such a thrill to. I'm such a fanboy, and he's telling us something outrageous. This is a big story. It's not even outrageous. It's amazing.
Okay.
So we're recording. So I wrote a song called Katrin, and I'm going to send it to you tonight.
Thank you.
It's actually on Spotify. So if any of your listeners want to go on Spotify and type in Exile Inside and Katrin.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a song. It's in 6/8, and it's a song all about 6/8 time signature. So it's like dum 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 dum, and it's.
You just sang House of the Rising Sun there. You know that's the intro to that. You ripped that off.
God, I'm now in trouble. So it's all about a girl called Katrina. It's a fictitious school friend, and it's about growing old, and it's about looking back at your youth. Okay, so the end coda of the song, I thought, I know what I want to do. I want some school kids to come in and sing the end coda, the chorus at the end, as a reflection of this sort of old man singing. It's a little bit of that sort of 60s style, Jimmy Webb style songwriting. So, Roxana, our lovely trumpet player in My Life Story, when My Life Story split up, she took on a teaching job in Balham. And I said, Rox, you're teaching, can you get me some school kids? Absolutely no problem. What do you need? I said, about 10 or 11, not number, age.
Yes.
Maybe 2 girls, 2 boys, something like that. So he goes, absolutely fine. So she brings these kids up. And what's funny about it was obviously that we've got these kids in the red light district.
Yeah, in a very naughty area.
So we get them upstairs through the sort of piss-stinking sort of corridor of this place next to Gay Hussar, and we get them upstairs. And it was quite funny because they were a bit feral, and the windows were open on the roof.
Yeah.
Because it was right on the roof, you know, the sort of grey extensions that they put on that place. So the roof was open, and they were climbing out of the roof, climbing on the tiles. It was one of those.
Jeez.
Grabbing these monkeys and pulling them back in, and, you know. Anyway, so we finally got down to recording this end coda, and the lyrics were, when are you coming out to play Katrin? So it's like, you know, it's all about sort of, the morning, maybe a lonely man that was wishing that he still had his friends at school, that kind of thing. So anyway, these kids started singing, and at the end of it, I took all their names down. I said, thanks, folks. There was one particular girl, actually. She was really great. She was like the sort of leader, really. So I said, and she was like, I'll get you all your names, I'll write them all down. So she wrote all the names down. And I said, I'm going to give you credit on the record. So credited all these names.
Beautiful.
On the record. And
a share of the millions that it no doubt made, of course, yes.
Yeah. So that's the end of the story for now.
Yeah.
Okay. Then about a year ago, a fan of My Life Story contacted me and said, I think you need to look at your liner notes.
Uh-oh.
You really need to read them.
Uh-oh. What have we done?
So I open up, I get the CD, I open up the liner notes. He goes, read who's sung on your record. So I start looking down. Adele Adkins. First ever recording.
I did not see that coming. No way.
Yeah, I think I've recorded Adele's first ever record. And there's your exclusive.
That's amazing.
So,
well, how do we monetize this, Jake? There's got to be.
I don't think she needs it.
No.
Not him. I want him to get a percentage of her millions.
No, what? Okay, so here's the next thing.
Has anyone got Adele's number? Call us now.
As soon as I heard, now I live in Brighton.
Yeah.
And Adele, to my knowledge at that time, I think still lived in Brighton. In fact, I knew the rough area where she lived.
Yeah.
And I cycle a lot. I was going to do this thing where I was going to put the CD in a bag and just cycle to her house and knock on her door. It's one of 2 or 3 doors.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it would be quite cute.
That'd be lovely.
But then someone told me she moved, and I didn't know where she moved. So at this time, I just want to give her, because we've got about, Natasha, how many copies of the album do we have left? Physical copies?
Literally about 4 or 5.
Yeah. So these are, I just want to get,
beautiful.
I want to get a copy to Adele.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that's listening that could perhaps help us out, or anybody at Talk Radio?
Let's try. This is a long shot. Nigel.
Oh, hi guys.
Do you know where Adele lives?
No, certainly not. I don't know if I don't live in London, do I?
No, I think she might live in America somewhere now.
Oh, I think she's in New York somewhere.
Okay, well that's a start. That's
Okay.
a start. We're closer than we thought we were going to be. So if anyone knows how we can get in touch with Adele,
Yeah.
so that is amazing.
It is.
Did she have a voice then? She must have had a voice then.
I genuinely remember her as being, all I remember is that she was, a really strong leader, and she was very confident.
Yeah.
And she must have been about 11, yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
And when I contacted Rox about this, the My Life Story's trumpet player who got her from school, and obviously fans of Adele that are listening to the show will know that she went to Balham before she went to the Brit School.
Yeah.
And even though she's from Tottenham, obviously, but Balham the other side of London, but she did study there as a kid. So it is her. It is her.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, it's so weird.
And just think, she could, pay off our mortgages without even thinking about it. That would be like nothing to her.
I just would like.
No, that's not why you're doing it. But I'm just thinking, if there's any associated glory with this.
I'm so glad you're not my manager. Or am I?
We're going to take a quick break, and come back. We've got a little bit more from My Life Story. This is Talk Radio.
The wild man of late night radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Sorry, you may have just heard me telling my guest
To shut up.
Jake from My Life Story to shut up.
It's so rude.
That's the disrespect we have. Honestly, I'm such a fanboy, Jake. I'm really trying to hold it together, but Kath knows something. I think he's coming in next week. Oh God, they're going to cancel the show for bloody Brexit. You were telling me what sounded like bullshine, but I'm going to go how you recorded the strings for this album, because that's another thing that makes it sound like a My Life Story album, is the strings. Although less than perhaps one would expect from the first couple of albums. It's certainly got. By the way, the drum sound on the album is incredible. It really snaps and crackles along. But it's got a really, there's a really strong guitar sound, which is more like fanboy. More like the kind of My Life Story towards the end, sort of late 90s, as opposed to the earliest when but tell me about the orchestra, how you recorded the orchestra.
Well, first of all, you mentioned the drums there, and Chris Hardwick is the drummer, an amazing drummer, so...
Oh, he's great.
Let's mention the man's name.
Yeah.
He is a phenomenal player.
It's brilliant.
And a guy called Steve Evans spent a long time a whole day just getting it's quite interesting, actually, with the recording the drums. So they spent a whole day getting the sound.
Brilliant.
And then a day to record all the drums.
Isn't that mad?
So that, it just shows you how good he is as a player.
So he just did all the tracks in a day?
Yeah, well actually the rhythm section, so Chris Hardwick and Jack Hosgood, who's the bass player, we recorded the rhythm section live.
Wow.
And I
old
thought
school.
Yeah. And then we used all the, gizmos and stuff over the top. But I think that sort of gave it that.
Do you know what that shows? Because, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a great section.
So, orchestra.
Yeah.
So because Nick and I do all this, the sync and TV stuff, we were very fortunate that some friends of ours said, look, okay, so you know what happens in the film and TV industry? What happens is quite a lot of time, if they're making a number, so say a production company like Endemol or the BBC or whoever, and they need strings on some TV shows, they'll wait for a while and then they'll bank them up and then they'll book Abbey Road and they'll record a whole day of orchestra on, a kids program, and then it'll be a thriller and then whatever. So there was some friends of ours that said, look, there's this place in Budapest. It's around the back of the railway station.
Yeah.
No, there's a really great place, and in Hungary they've got loads of famous composers. There's a Handel. I think there's loads of famous.
I'm keeping out of this bit of the conversation because I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah,
but okay.
I'm getting close to it, but yeah. So we were aware of this. We'd actually had been there before, and those Eastern Bloc countries, a lot of film and TV companies use them because they're relatively cheap, but it also they play the strings with a certain. There's loads of stuff I've really learned, like orchestra. There's a sort of stereotype of orchestras in different countries.
Right. Okay.
So,
there's like a sound for each country.
There's a sound for each country. So in America, it's supposed to be like that Disney sort of orchestra. So they that's very proficient, but it might be a little cold sounding. In Hungary, they say that it's like quite emotive.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't care if it's a little bit out. That's what orchestras are. That's the whole idea of an orchestra. They're all a little bit out with each other. But so anyway, we managed to arrange. We piggybacked on the end of a session. We got an hour to record there's a 40-piece orchestra, string orchestra, waiting for us. So there's a conductor that obviously conducts the orchestra. He has a pair of headphones on. There is an arranger who also has a pair of headphones on. He's in London. Me and Nick are in Brighton.
This is nuts.
And we all log on to a piece of software on a computer, which is a bit like it's a Skype for
music
composers.
Right.
And you all go on and you've got your little box, you're in a box each, you have a box. And you hear this, orchestra warming up, just, hairs.
It was always a great sound anyway.
Hairs go straight up, and then it's like, hi, it's Georgie here, and I'm the conductor, and yes, I'm looking forward to. And then, then the arrangers go, yeah, right, Jake, hi, Jake, hi, Nick, yeah, great, I've got the scores, he's got the scores now, we're ready to go. And with Nick and I are just like sitting in a room in front of a laptop.
Yeah.
And our song is being born.
Wow.
In Hungary.
That's amazing.
With a conductor. You don't see it. You just, and that's in a way that's like radio, you just visualize it. And that was an incredible experience.
And those guys, because they're doing it in one take, I'm guessing, because they're all the music's there, they're reading it, and they're just doing it.
Yeah, they do it in one take, but of course, then it comes down to interpretation. So they'll record it in the way that the conductor is conducting it, probably in a fairly standard way. So it'd be like, keep in time and play these notes.
Yes.
And then they'll play it, and then you say, then the person we arranged it, but the person who scored it out is a real arranger, not someone like me who just goes, la, 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 can you play that? Or Nick who goes, half, sixth form sort of, music theory. He will say, yeah, guys, do you think that should be a bit more allegro at the end?
Okay, so there's a few little nudges and a few little shifts and changes.
Yeah, and then you want to get that emotion, or you want to say, can you swell here, and can you dip here, and then you can really get into it. But obviously we only had an hour, so it was a bit fraught.
You got a tour coming up, of course, thank God. Starts on Saturday, November the 2nd, Islington Assembly Hall, it's where we saw Love recently. Then it goes to St Albans at the Horn. Where's the Horn in St Albans?
I know where it is.
Okay, good. Catherine knows where it is. That's great.
I'll tell you later.
Thanks very much.
I'll show you. Especially escort you.
It's really well known, the Horn.
I know.
Did you do a gig there?
No.
Yeah.
No. Did I? Might have done. who knows? These are all through November. You got Norwich the 21st, Hebden Bridge the 23rd of November. You got Hull. You got Worthing. Bristol on the 1st December, then a break over Christmas and New Year in Glasgow in February, and it's all on mylifestory.band is the place to go. Do you get a kick out of performing still?
Yeah.
I've never seen you guys live. I've watched lots of videos.
Right.
And you're a master of the rock kick. I love it. I love that on it. I think that's such a sexy thing. It looks like you enjoy it.
Yeah, I try to give it up many times, and yeah, you know, without going into too many personal details, I think sometimes when you're just at your absolute lowest ebb, you just look at, sometimes you know that thing where you just sit there and you think, well, who am I? What am I? What is my place in the world?
Yeah.
Whatever, and I've always just gone back to I am a songwriter and a performer, and that is my job.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that makes me happy, and whether I'm playing in a bar somewhere, I mean, I am going to be one of those sad old crooners. Folks, I'm already 53, so I'm probably that right now.
He's looking good for 53, I'm going to give him that.
But yeah, that's how I've accepted that. That's what I am.
Because was there a period, without dwelling too much on it, when, My Life Story big, you're on telly, you're doing big tours, you're selling a few records, and we said before, inevitably there is always a period when, the band splits up and suddenly you're not such a hot thing. That must be tough. That must be an incredibly tough thing. To live, it's similar for me when I was on TV. I did a few big shows and couldn't get a job anywhere for a couple of years, and had to kind of start at the bottom again and work up. It's tough on the ego, isn't it?
Exactly, and I think that I think when you're in a band, I don't know if it's similar in your position, but when you're in a band and you sign the record label's job, we all know, is to hype the band. So it's like, this is the best band we've ever signed. Yeah. This is going to go to number one. I mean, I remember EMI going. There were a number of EMI were going, 12 Reasons Why I Love Her is going to number one.
Wow. They actually sat down and said that.
Yeah, they were like, it's going to, it's going, we are going to make that a number one. And no matter how level-headed you are, even if there's a tiny slither of a thing in the back of your mind that goes, oh, it might do. I mean, this is EMI. This is
they know what they're talking about.
Great record label as well. And we were signed to Parlophone, which was the Beatles record label. We were our label mates were Blur and Radiohead. So, I'm not necessarily saying I believe that, but if you put all of that kind of stuff in someone's head,
it's hard not to get. I got sucked into the hype of you're the greatest talent we've ever had. You get sucked into the excitement.
But I guess what I'm saying, Ian, is even if it's a tiny bit, it's still there.
Yeah.
So, and then when you eventually get dropped, we're all, it's like death and taxes. Madonna will be dropped one day. And it's amazing. When I say amazing, it's such an intense feeling when somebody says, that's it, folks. And quite often, I've spoken to loads of bands about being dropped. It's almost like one of my favourite pet subjects. Yeah. It's like, when I get to know a musician and we're good friends, I just go, just tell me, what was it like, and I've heard some incredible stories, like bands that have been like in the top 10. And the accountant's gone, right, it's not really about you. I think a lot of fans don't realise that. It is about the bottom line. We've invested so much money in you, and you've only gone to number 10. So, I'm afraid we're going to have to let you go.
Incredible.
Yeah. So it's that, and for your mental health, that sort of peak and that fall, to even the sanest person on the planet has got to have some kind of effect, let alone anybody in the music industry. And let's face it, if you're in the music industry, you're probably going to have a mental health issue.
Yeah.
So,
it's an excellent observation.
So it really kills us, do you know what I mean, for a long time. And so...
So we're going to end in a minute. I want to end on a positive. Were you... I know you have
Happy
a lot
to talk about that at any other stage, though, because that's something.
Well, then let's get you back.
About.
Come back in again. Come back in again. Okay. Because
I
didn't want to tread on uncomfortable.
No, it's all good.
You're coming back in.
We're
then.
Doing
We're going to do it again.
We'll do a mental health special.
Well, let's do it, because I talk all the time. I'm always talking about, nearly killing myself and all of the fun stuff. All right, we're going to get you back in then. But I want to end on a positive. You've obviously got a close relationship with the fans, because I've seen it on the Facebook and all of that. That must be amazing.
Unbelievable.
That to release an album 9 19 years, under the banner My Life Story, 19 years after the last one, the support and the excitement and the fact that it's pledges, fans are going, I'll give you 20, I'll give you 50, I'll give you 100 quid for all. I've seen you been playing people's, like, back gardens and birthday parties as part of the pledge package. So it must be amazing for you, and do your confidence the world of good, to have so much love and so much support, both financial and emotional, from people 20 years after you last put out a My Life Story record.
And imagine the intensity of, have you ever done a show to yourself, to, like, sort of, just a small...
Yes, quite a few times.
Yes. Yeah, I'll probably set that up a bit too badly, really. But the intensity of playing in you're invited into someone's home.
I saw you in someone's back garden. I saw pictures of you in someone's back garden.
Yeah, we go into someone's home and they're like, can you set up sort of in between the yucca and the barbecue, you know, and you set up and what's lovely about it is that obviously if it's their 50th birthday or whatever it is, or their wedding anniversary, there's always a contingent of people that don't know the band, because they're like, Uncle Fred's coming and blah, blah, blah. And it's so lovely them explaining. They're like, this is Jake, he's basically, I grew up on his records and, blah, 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 and I'm using, I've hired Jake and Nick to play and my money's going towards making their record, but also he's gonna, it's like, and that's the best thing about DIY, is that exchange. It's a mutual beneficial exchange, so that that money then goes back into making more records, more music. And for them, it's quite incredible seeing the emotion. I bet. The last one we were doing, there was loads of people crying, wasn't there, and stuff like that. And it was, we played for somebody, recently whose whole family is 4 children. He brought them up. He made them listen to My Life Story. It's like some sort of crazy religion. And they were all sort of
bowing down in front of...
with feather boas on.
Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant. It's so nice to see you, man. Honestly, I'm so thrilled that you come in. that the album is it's just an absolute joy. If you want to get it, mylifestory.band, World Citizen is the album. And Kath and I are going to come on November the 2nd to the Assembly Hall.
Lovely to have you there.
In London. My first My Life Story gig.
Wow.
So I'll be at the front bowing down and in tears.
We'll get you a feather boa.
Oh, mate, please do. It's so nice to meet you, Natasha. Thank you so much for sorting this out. This is the Late Night Alternative. We'll be back after the news on Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
And I keep 'em rolled up for all to see.
Here we go. Yeah, I had a little bit of a man crush going on there. What a nice guy. Isn't it funny? I was so nervous because you watch those early My Life Story videos and stuff, there's a real arrogance and a cockiness, and you're always thinking, I wonder what that's going to be like in real life. And I would say 99 times out of 100, you are confronted with a very softly spoken, very gentle soul. And that's exactly what we got there. That's Jake Shillingford, My Life Story. The new album is an absolute joy. MyLifeStory.band. Hello, Catherine.
Hello.
How are you? Is it me you're looking for? I just got to see your eyes.
My what?
Your eyes. I just got to see your nose. And I gotta say, God only knows. Oh, he's done some doodles. Ooh, we're selling that. Wasn't he lovely?
Yeah.
Wasn't he lovely? I was just saying, you're never quite sure. The first few albums are so cocky and so arrogant and so wonderful. Yeah, you got problems?
I don't think he was on camera.
Was he on camera there, James? Was he on camera? He was on camera.
All right,
He was
cool.
on camera. And I'm always slightly, same with Luke Haynes. Luke Haynes' books made me laugh and terrified
But
me.
also, yeah, you were terrified that he wouldn't like you,
Yeah.
or that you wouldn't, I don't know, that you wouldn't gel or whatever, but
They were absolutely delightful.
They had a really
Thank
good time.
Oh, good. I'm so pleased. Hey, we got some good news, right? So the transcript book that we've been working on for ages, we finally put it up for sale. This is an idea. Sorry, we haven't been on for 2 days and we're doing a really quite a niche, hard work show. This is not fun for a lot of people who've never listened before. Do you know what? Tough. So we put out this book. We've been working on this book for a long time of transcripts from this show. Nigel, I will come to you in a second, I promise. And this all came about because someone complained to Ofcom, because I called someone a sex offender. So someone invited me around to the house for tea.
Oh no, you sound like a sex offender.
You sound like a sex offender. Someone complained to Ofcom, wasn't upheld, they never are. But we got sent the transcript, or the complaint was put onto a public website, and the transcript of that was put as part of the complaint. And me and Kath read it off air because we're sensible like that. Or maybe we did it on air actually. And we just were rolling about the floor laughing. You take this conversation out of context, out of, the studio, and you read it. It is funny. And so we thought, well, I wonder if we could do a whole book of this nonsense. And some of you, loads of you actually, very, very kindly said, okay, we'll take a bit of are my headphones feeding back? Is that okay? We'll take a little bit of we'll take a favourite phone in, we'll take a favourite call, and we'll transcribe it for you. And you did, thank you. Some of them needed a bit of editing, which Catherine did, thank you. Then I kind of put it all together as a book and on Lulu, this website lulu.com, and formatted it, and it's on sale today. Went on sale at 3:00. I need to I don't think it's quite in the Lulu algorithms yet. Let me just go. If I go to lulu.com and search, I don't think it quite shows up. So let me have a look. I'm going to type in the late night alternative, and let's see if it shows up in the algorithms yet. Lulu is search. Oh, boom! There you go. It's the first one that comes up. The late night alternative, right? You type that in to lulu.com. It comes up, okay? It's selling for $12.99 plus postage. I think of that $12.99, Lulu take most of it, and I think it's something like £5.79 or £5.99. I'll double check later. Profit, right? So we get, for every book that is sold, we get £5.79 profit.
Except we don't get it.
Where's it going?
Samaritans.
Saved my life several times. We've talked about them a lot, and I know a lot of you have benefited from the Samaritans. So every penny that we make, we're going to give to the Samaritans. Now, this means it's probably we've spent a few quid already getting stuff formatted. I don't think there's like a tax. I think I've got to pay tax on that money that the book, cause it's going to go into my bank account. So I'll pay tax on it. I'm happy to take that hit, right? Went on sale at 3:00 this afternoon. We sold 112 copies.
What?
£650.50 for the Samaritans already.
Now, we thought we'd be pushing it to get 100.
I thought over like a few weeks we'd sell 100 and that would be it. We've sold 112 in like 9 8 hours, 113 now. I can see it going up in live time. That is amazing. Genuinely, it's not me being, oh guys, that's, I'm genuinely, but that's £656.88. We're going to make £1,000 easy for the Samaritans, I think. It's a really nice book. It's something like 270 pages. We are absolutely thrilled with how it looks. Thank you everyone that sent one in. If your piece is in the book, you get a name check, your name is under it. It's incredible. If you go to lulu.com, Late Night Alternative, you get it there. Now, I think you can buy it from Amazon. I think you can buy it from other places. Here's the thing. Amazon take a much bigger cut. So if you bought it for the same, if you bought it on Amazon, we'd get like £2.50, which is great, and it'll go to the Samaritans, but that's less than half what you get if you buy it from lulu.com. So I really, really appreciate it, lulu.com. We can't do signed copies because I haven't physically got them. The way Lulu works is every time a book is ordered, it prints up a book. That's it. It's not like a big warehouse full of them. Every time a book is ordered, it prints up a book. So we can't sign them. However, if you see us in the street, if you come to one of our live shows, we will sign it for you. Please don't send them into work here because then it gets complicated and they might get lost and blah, 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 blah. But come to one of our live shows, you see us in the street, I'm assuming they're always going to be carrying our book around with them. Come and grab us, we would be thrilled.
They won't be carrying the book around, it'll be under their pillows.
There are some sexy bits actually in there, if that's what you're thinking.
No, I didn't mean that. I mean, also, late night reads.
On a personal level, we got a book out.
Yeah.
On a pure ego level, we got a book out. And it looks wicked.
You haven't even mentioned who's written a little foreword for us.
Oh, God! John Dredge. Dredge, who phones in, has written a foreword for us. And some bloke called Bob Mortimer. He just sent it in.
Some listener
called Bob Mortimer. And Bob Mortimer's written a really lovely foreword about us and about the show, and Bob's in the book, Dredge is in the book, Keith Fast Running's First Call is in the book. I'm so thrilled. It looks beautiful. In all honesty, me and Kath have done very, very little compared to what you guys have done in terms of transcribing it. And Kath's done more. I've done nothing. Kath's done a bit, and you lot have done a lot. And I really, really appreciate it. And we are still, at some point, probably not this year, but at some point we would like to do an evening where people reenact the phone calls, but take them out of a phone-in studio, put them at a bus stop, put them on the Titanic, but put them somewhere different. Anyway, lulu.com. Type in the Late Night Alternative. It pops up. It's got a green cover. There's a picture of me and Kath sat in my back garden, and it's. I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled. And we've already sold 13 more than I was expecting to sell. So I'm thrilled. Over the moon. We might get to £1,000 for the Samaritans. Let's go to Jane. Good evening, Jane.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm on top of the world, Jane. I'm glad to be working after having 2 nights off because of Brexit.
Oh, well, that's why I was ringing.
Oh. Continue,
I'm not sure if I've got the right show, to be fair.
Okay, well, you've got the right show. You got the best show. You got the only show in town.
So, but anyhow, it was only just to say, really, that today I voted to leave, basically, in 2016 in the election.
Yes.
And I know it's a very sensitive subject.
Very sensitive.
But,
yes.
I saw Boris Johnson today, and I've been watching the BBC News.
He's a bellend, isn't
he? Yeah. But the thing is, I think he's getting hammered from every angle, to be fair.
Good.
I mean, people are asking him questions, and he's answering the question 5 times, and they're still asking him
He's
the
not,
same
though,
question.
is he? He's not answering the questions.
Well, I think he is.
He's avoiding all of the questions. Did you see that brilliant MP for Slough, place I grew up in, picking him up on his awful racist language?
Well, you see, I don't think it's racist. I mean, you're
a white middle-aged woman. Sure, he wasn't.
But I'm not racist, and I don't think he is either.
I didn't say you. I didn't say you.
Silly.
Jane, I didn't say you were. Jane, I didn't say you were racist.
Things that he says.
Yes, I didn't say you were racist. Why would you assume? Why you've gone to the defence of against your own racism?
This is how I believe that this generation is going. You can't say anything about anybody.
What would you like to say that you think you can't say?
Well, I feel that you've just said to me that you thought I was racist.
Didn't say that.
Thought I was racist.
Didn't say that at all. Here's the problem with people. Here's the problem with people. They don't listen.
What I was saying.
They don't listen.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
so
you don't. You're the person that's not listening. What would you like to say about people of other races that you feel you're not allowed to say? Because trust me, you're allowed to say it.
Well, I don't have. I have friends that are Sikh, Hindu, Muslim people, very, very close friends of mine, and my family, and we don't have an issue with that.
Well, what would you like to? You just said that there's stuff you'd like to say that you're not allowed to say.
No, what I was saying was that Boris Johnson is not racist.
How do you know that? He uses racist language.
I know he isn't.
Well, come on now, Jane. He uses racist. I'm going to give you the evidence. Jane, can you do conversation or Jane?
To leave.
Jane, hello.
4 million people voted to leave.
Can you do conversation? Yeah, okay. Well, can you do conversation?
Well, can you?
Yes, I can. It's my job. Can you do it?
I can. Go on. I'll let you finish.
Okay. Thank you. And maybe you'll respond. I've given you evidence that Boris Johnson is a racist, or certainly uses racist language. What evidence have you got that he isn't a racist?
What evidence have you got that he is? I do not believe that he is whatsoever.
Pickaninnies.
I think he is trying his very best.
Pickaninnies.
To honour the referendum.
Pickaninnies.
17.4 million people voted to leave this country.
Pickaninnies.
Out the EU.
Pickaninnies.
I'm sorry, I'm not listening to that. Because you're not listening to my...
No, I'm listening. No, you're going off on a tangent. 17.4 million people voted to leave Europe. I've got that, but that's not what we're talking about.
No, but you're talking about something that I just... You see,
This is it. You're not having a conversation. You've asked me for the evidence that he's racist. No, I am. You've asked me for evidence that he's racist. I've given it to you, and you're completely ignoring it.
He's a totally decent guy.
Jane.
And I truly believe that he's trying his best for our country.
Dear God, you're thick. Jane, listen, please.
You're calling me thick?
Yes, because you're thick. Jane, listen,
I'm thick.
I'm glad we agree about something.
That's a dreadful thing to say about somebody, really, isn't it?
I'm glad we agree about something.
I'm a highly educated person, actually.
I don't believe that for a second. You certainly didn't learn manners.
Well, I do, because you're calling me thick.
Correct. Now, can you address... I've given you evidence that he's used racist language, and
you're thick. Because you're only reading one side of the story.
I'm reading an article that he wrote where I'm reading...
You're not an open-minded person whatsoever.
Oh, I'm more open-minded than you could ever think.
No, you're not.
I love ladies' parts and I love men's parts. That's quite open-minded. What I'm reading is I'm reading an article that he wrote where he used the term pickaninnies.
Everybody's choice.
Sorry?
Can't fault you for that. Can't fault you for that.
Okay. Is there a delay on this? Because it's like that the Two Ronnie sketch where you're answering the question before. I'm reading an article that Boris Johnson wrote where he used the derogatory term pickaninnies. That's my evidence that he's used racist language. An article
what about the good things that he's done?
Well, no, that's...
Are you only picking on...
What
about the other politicians in this country?
What about
one person?
Yeah, because we're talking about one person, Jane.
We're not.
Well, we are. We're talking about
going to an election.
No, we're talking about...
It could be anybody's day now.
Jane, we're talking about Boris Johnson.
No,
do you not...
So you're singling him out.
What do you think?
You are a bully.
We're talking about Boris Johnson.
But you are a bully.
I'm a bully because we're talking... What did you think?
You are a bully.
Great, okay.
You are a total bully.
Yep, okay.
And you are not...
And you're going to put the phone down, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, fine. We were talking...
You're an absolute... You are totally not listening to anybody else's view.
I'm listening. We were talking about Boris Johnson.
So why shout? Why bawl?
Because you're not responding. This is what women say. Have you been sniffing glue or something?
Boris Johnson is a very decent person. He's a gentleman.
Jesus Christ.
He's a scholar. He's a very educated man.
This is a spoof. He's a gentleman and a scholar.
Yes, so what are you going to say now?
I'm going to go back to the point where you denied...
You're going to be derogative about him, aren't you?
No, I'm not going to be derogative. I'll be derogatory.
You are?
I'm not going to be derogative because I don't think
you are.
it's my derogative. We were talking about whether he'd used racist language or not.
I don't believe he did.
So you don't think pickaninny is you don't think that's
I don't.
Can I finish the question?
I don't understand the term, and I've never even used it in my life.
So you don't.
So why would I even think it was derogatory?
Because
you're just picking on something.
Yes.
Just to bring the man down, aren't you?
No. I'm picking on it. I'm going to educate you now.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Well, I won't because you've got closed ears.
No, my ears are very open.
Well, then, shall I tell you?
Both sides, to be fair.
Well, it's not though, is it?
Like you.
Because you're saying you don't know what pickaninny means, but you're not open to the idea it might be. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Well, what does it mean then?
Well, do you really want to know?
Well, yes, I would.
Okay, are you sure? Are you sure
yes, I would.
Are you sure that you're going to listen?
Oh, yes, I would absolutely love to know because you seem to know what it means.
Well, I do know what it means. Yes. It's a derogatory term for black people. It often refers to slaves.
Well, that's totally unruly, isn't it?
It's unruly.
That's not acceptable.
So
whatsoever.
if I was to use the word pickaninny, which is a derogatory term for black people.
Come on a minute.
Jane?
So you're now trying to infuse a situation that wasn't even there.
Let's just play a little mind game, okay? If I were to refer to my listeners of colour as pickaninnies.
Well, everybody's unequal.
Okay.
There is no
literally no idea what you're talking about now. You're just rambling like a madwoman.
So there is no. I beg your pardon?
I said you're just rambling like a madwoman.
No, there is no divide in this country. Everybody's accepted in this country.
Okay, well, can I just, Jane,
love
Jesus
every minority,
Christ,
majority,
I don't care,
whatever.
Jane.
So what's your point?
If you let me speak, and if you actually respond to the words...
You're trying to cause an argument when there isn't one.
Okay, I'm just trying to point out exactly how dumb you are, if you'll let me. If I were to
carry on.
If I were to refer to my listeners of colour as pickaninnies, which is
you call me dumb.
If I were to refer...
You called me dumb.
Are you listening on the radio? Because there's a delay going on here.
No, I'm listening to you.
Okay. If I were to refer to my listeners of colour as pickaninnies, which is a derogatory term for black people and often was used to describe slaves, would you consider that as racist?
In a certain context.
Okay.
But you know something? That is totally unacceptable in this country.
It's unacceptable, isn't it?
What are you on about?
Well, the point is, Boris Johnson wrote an article where he referred to people as pickaninnies.
Well, I don't believe that he means that. I really don't.
Okay, well, what do you think? What do you think he meant? What do you think he meant?
I don't know.
No, but you don't.
Boris Johnson,
but here's the thing.
I don't believe that he meant any derogative mark.
There's no such word as derogative.
What about all the Jewish people that have been anti-Semitised through the Labour Party?
I think it's awful. I think it's a real problem of anti-Semitisation in the Labour Party.
You need to bring that up then, don't you?
Well, no, because
what I'm saying
Jesus Christ, this woman is thick. Jane, we were talking about...
You're calling me thick?
For the fourth time, yeah. We were talking about Boris Johnson.
But you are very abusive, aren't you?
I don't like racists and I don't like people who defend...
I'm very far from thick.
I don't like...
And you think... Are you calling me a racist? That's one thing I'm not.
Well, if you let me finish the sentence, because you know Muslim people...
You be very careful what you're saying.
Okay, if I don't like racists, and I don't like people...
Well, don't speak to me like I am one, because I am not.
If you let me finish the sentence, Jane, we might get there in a bit. Do you drive? I don't like racists, and I don't like people who defend racists. Which is what you're doing.
Like, then?
Sorry?
I'm not defending a racist.
You're defending Boris Johnson.
I'm defending my Prime Minister.
Well, here's the thing.
Minister of our country.
I don't look up with complete deference to people in power.
Well, that's your opinion.
It is. I question them. And I question their racism.
Well, I question it as well. But you know something? I don't believe he is such a bad person that he's been painted out to be. And I think he needs to be given a choice, given a chance, and at least be able to get the referendum out of the way and go for what the country voted for and let everybody stop this nonsense and let us all unite together as a country. That's what we need.
I would never unite with you, Jane.
Well, I wouldn't know. It was you after calling me thick and gormless and everything else.
Didn't use the word gormless, but that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm going to add that to the list.
How rude are you?
Very.
You called me thick,
Very.
uneducated.
Yep.
Really?
Actually, you're right.
Well, I think you're one-sided.
Au
You are
contraire.
not listening to an argument.
You haven't given one.
Well, there is an argument because
You haven't given
obviously
one.
we need to get out of this country.
You get out of the country, Jane, if you want. I'm staying in the country. I live here. My house is here.
Really? But you don't want to vote for what's right for it,
I'm
do
staying
you?
I'm staying. You want to get out of the country, do you?
Well, you don't want to write. We want to get out of the EU.
Well, you just said you want to get out of the country.
17.4 million people.
You want to get out of. You just said you want to get out of the country. Make your mind up.
We want to leave the EU.
But you want to leave the country as well.
Well, we want to leave the EU.
You said you wanted to leave the country.
Are you for real?
No, you literally just said.
Are you really
30
for real?
seconds ago that you wanted to leave the country.
You are actually not normal.
No, I'm
Because
not.
you are not listening to
I'm
what
listening
the
better
people
than
are
you're speaking.
saying.
I'm listening better than you're
No,
speaking.
You are not. You are not listening. No, you can laugh all you like.
I will
but you
laugh.
Know something.
I've had better
you
arguments
will,
about
will,
Europe
but you
with
know
my.
Something.
I've had.
You are so stupid.
Yep. Okay.
You are so stupid
Uh-huh.
because you don't listen
Yep.
to what the people are saying to
I'm
you.
listening to you. I'm trying to listen to you.
But you haven't, though. Because
Well, I
all
have.
you've done is just abuse me.
You've just said you wanted to leave the country.
We want to leave the EU, don't we?
I don't know because you a minute ago
Well,
you
that's
said.
what majority of people
Yes,
want to do,
you
isn't
just
it?
said you wanted
Is
to.
it not?
You just said you wanted to leave the country.
You know what I mean.
No,
We want to leave the EU, and I've said that on several times to you through this
But
conversation.
you also said you wanted to leave the country, Jane.
Well, shouldn't you, really?
I don't want to leave the
Because you're
country.
not
My house is
really.
here. My house is here.
What's your opinion on it, then?
On what?
Would you like to remain, or would you like to leave?
In the country. I would like to remain in the country if that's okay.
Oh, is that what you voted for?
I voted every time I vote. It's to
Did you
remain
vote
in the
to
country.
leave
Every
the
time.
EU, or did you
Every
vote to
time I
remain?
vote to remain in the country.
So, did you vote to leave the EU or to remain?
Well, now here's the thing, Jane.
What
Because
did you vote? What's your vote?
I will tell you, but here's the thing. It's more nuanced than the answer I'm going to give you. I don't know if you know what the word nuanced means.
Go on, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what nuanced means?
Oh, go on, you'll tell me.
Well, no, I'm hoping you know.
Well, go on then.
Okay. I'm going to give you the answer to your question.
Yeah, did you vote
No, I know.
to leave or
Yes.
remain?
I'm going to
answer. Did you vote for a deal or without a deal? What did you vote for?
We didn't get
on
to
the
vote-
ballot paper.
we
What
didn't-
did you vote for? Answer the question.
Oh, go listen to you, Jerry Paxman.
Answer the question. Did you vote leave or remain?
Yes.
With a deal, without a deal?
We weren't
or
asked. We weren't asked.
anything?
Well, Jane,
What
I
did
don't
you
know.
do?
I don't know
So,
what.
So did you vote? It was a one thing.
Yeah, but you've just given 4 options.
Question.
You've given 4 things.
It was a one question. You know what the question was. When
I
David
do, but I
Cameron
don't
asked
think
it.
you do. What was
You know what the question was. So what did you do?
Why don't you tell me what the
Did
question
you vote
was?
to remain?
Why don't you?
I suppose you voted to remain. Are you Ramona?
I don't know what that
Are
means.
you quiet?
I'm 46 years old. I don't.
Really?
We don't speak your language.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what, at 76? You don't speak my language.
You're 76, are you, Jane?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I apologise for being so rude to you then.
Well, I wouldn't be if I was you.
No.
You've been rude all night. So, did you vote to remain or did you vote to leave?
My
With
vote.
a deal or without a deal? What did you do?
We
did you
weren't-
vote to
Jesus.
remain with a deal or did you vote to leave without a deal?
Have you got grandkids?
That wasn't on the question paper, was it?
You're answering your own. You're having your own conversation now. Have you got grandkids?
Oh, I've got lots of grandchildren.
I'm so sorry for them.
Oh, really? I'm very happy for them because you know something, if we get out of this mess, eventually, we will eventually learn to live as a lovely country, be united, move forward, be able to have deals with other countries and not be tied into this mess that we are in today. I was in the common market when it went into the common market.
Oh, so it's your fault?
Oh, so it was my fault. Yeah, I was the only one that voted.
So you voted, so it's your fault.
Did you vote to leave or remain? Answer the question.
Why? Why should I answer?
Because you need to.
No, I don't.
Because you questioned me.
No.
Answer the question.
Don't need to answer anything.
Yes, you do.
I voted. I voted to
or remain.
Well, here's the thing, Jane.
You're a moaner, aren't you?
No, I'm not, because I don't know what that means. Because I'm a grown man. I don't throw around childish.
You're a moaner.
Okay.
You didn't want to leave the EU, did you?
This is Talk Radio.
Moonlit musings from mums, madams, and meat packers.
Oh, never mind, I must have misheard.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
The station's brilliant.
On Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000. Nigel, Alistair, Paul, stay there. I think we got two gentlemen that want to ride to my defence after the merciless tongue lashing I received from a very, very rude caller who wouldn't let me get a word in edgeways. Tony's phoned up to support me. Good evening, Tony.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, Tony.
Yeah, hello.
Tony, are you on speakerphone?
Yeah.
Be great if you could use your hand.
Right.
'Cause can't hear you very well.
Hello.
Go on, man.
Hello.
I want to hear you. She was out of order, wasn't she, man?
Now listen, I've just caught the last 5 minutes of that, right? I turned it out, I put the radio station because I thought it was going to be like the political thing tonight because of the Brexit thing, yeah? I didn't know what I was going to get. And I heard someone on the radio, I didn't recognise that it was you, yeah? And I couldn't believe the abuse, the way you were talking to that woman. I didn't hear the start of the conversation.
Well, then you missed the integral bit, Tony. If you go back and listen to it and then give us a call back and apologise.
So you know you're being rude to me, ain't you?
No, I'm just saying, you've admitted yourself you didn't hear the full conversation. Go back and listen to it on the website, and then you can phone back and apologise to me for the outrageous tone you've taken in this call.
I've taken an outrageous tone, have I?
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Okay.
So do you want to go back and listen to it and then give us a call later?
Maybe, I'll do that, yeah.
Good lad, thank you, Tony. Jason's phoned up because Jason thought the way I was spoken to was awful. Jason, what would you like to say? Don't be too harsh on Jane because she's not here to defend herself.
Am I on now? Can you hear me?
Sorry?
Can you hear me?
Are you on speakerphone?
No, I'm not on speakerphone, no.
It's very muffled. Is there any way Jason, we can't, Jason, Jason, Jesus, it's very muffled. We can't hear you very well. Is there anything you could do to get rid of the muffling?
Hold on. Wait 1 second. Maybe I've got the radio on in the background.
It's not that that's doing it. It's just very muffled. But if you've got that on, switch it off.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a little bit muffled, but we can make it out. Go on.
Oh, God, you are so arrogant, aren't you? You are really arrogant.
What, because I can't hear you very well?
I listened to your whole conversation. You are really rude. You are really so rude. This is the first time I've had to phone up just to tell you how rude you are.
What did I say?
It was lovely. And I listened to our conversation. Why can't you just wind it in?
Jason, tell me what I did that was rude.
Well, you talked to her like she's nothing. You was really rude.
Give me one example. I need an example of where...
You wasn't prepared to listen to her.
I listened to everything Jason's not prepared to listen to me. He's phoned up to say I'm rude for not listening, and he's not listening. Outrageous. Can you believe these guys?
What he doesn't realise is if you're talking at the same time, Iain can be heard more than you.
Yeah, just the way the system works. So, Jason, can you give me an example of what I said that was rude, please, mate?
Can I give you an example? Because every time she said something, you talked over her as you're talking over me, and she gave an opinion. Everyone's allowed to have their opinion.
Am I allowed to have an opinion?
You're allowed to
Well,
have
that's
an
all I
opinion.
did. All I did was...
You can't be rude to her.
Yes, I
Just
can.
let her have an opinion.
Yes, I can. If she's defending a racist and is being rude to me, I can be rude to her. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I suppose you can be rude if you want to, because you're on a radio station.
It's free speech, Jace. Just exercising my free speech. It's what our Tommy died for. Is for free speech.
I think the thing is, what's your name? I don't even know who you are.
And you call me rude. You phoned up to speak on my radio show and you don't even know my name?
Mate,
How rude. How rude are you, Jason? That's rude. I would never phone up a radio show and not know the name of the host.
I'm in Brazil, to be fair. I just happened to listen to this tonight. So
unlucky.
I think you're great. But listen, I just want to carry on. I think that the lady had got a point. What was her point? Because I couldn't work it out.
Well, she's got a point. She's got.
Well, what was it?
She's got an opinion. Well, you know what her opinion was.
No, I don't know what her point was. Her point was that she didn't.
To say, but you wouldn't allow her to speak.
Oh, I did,
and
Jason.
I've listened to you before. I've heard you before, and you won't allow people to speak. You want to talk over people all the time. I think it's great. I think you're fantastic, to be fair. But just allow people to speak and don't be rude to them.
Hey, Jason, when's your radio show on?
Well, do you want me to come and have a radio show with it?
No, not at all. Not at all. But you've not got a radio show. I have. I'll do it the way I've been doing it for the last 15 years. What was her point that I missed then? Because all I heard was the inane... Jason, let me finish.
Mate,
all I heard... Jason, you're talking over me now and they can't hear you while we're both talking. All I heard was the inane ramblings of someone defending a racist. What did I miss?
It's not defending what you're saying, that Boris Johnson is a racist.
Oh, I'm not having the same argument again.
He's not racist.
He's used racist. He's used race. Well, it's a fact. He's used racist language.
That's your opinion.
No, he's used racist language. That's a fact. Whether he's a racist or not could
Boris
be down to
Johnson
opinion.
will take this country forward.
Jason, let's stop. Here's the thing. Jason, your fader's down now. I don't like doing that very often, but your fader's down, so you're not on the air. Here's the thing, right? This isn't Nick Ferrari. This isn't Mike Graham or Julia Hartley-Brewer, right? This is a radio show where I will discuss stuff and I will look at things from every which way, but I will not allow you to jump out of conversations and to avoid questions and spout cliches. We need a little bit more than that. So stop spouting the cliches, all right? He has used racist language. That's a fact. Right?
Fact, is it?
Yes, fact, it is.
I don't agree with you at all.
Pickaninnies, you don't think Pickaninnies is racist?
To be fair, I'm quite an intelligent guy, and I don't even know what that.
Well, if you were listening to the conversation with Jane, you would have heard me give you the definition of it. As you said, you listened to the whole thing, and you still don't think that Pickaninnies is racist.
And when was he saying this?
Oh, sorry, I thought you said that he'd never used racist language, but now you don't actually know. He wrote an article and used it in an article.
I don't believe that Boris Johnson is racist.
No. We're honing it down, Jason.
Take this country forward.
Here come the cliches. They don't mean anything. We're honing it down. Forget the racist for a second. Would you agree that Pickaninnies, now you know what it means because you listened to me explain it to Jane, is a racist term?
Well, I don't believe that Boris Johnson is
answer
racist.
The question.
I don't believe that Boris Johnson is racist.
That's great. I'm really pleased to hear that, Jason. Can you answer...
He might have said something that might make him across
Can you
racist,
answer the specific...
But I don't believe he's a racist.
Okay, Jason, that's really interesting.
Take
this country forward and Okay. Okay, that's great. Are you able, Jason, to answer a specific question?
I'm able to answer a question, but...
Well, can you answer it then? Could you answer it?
What you want me to say?
Could you answer it?
I believe that Boris Johnson...
Okay, here come the cliches. Take the country forward. La 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 la. Great. Okay, we've got that. Could you answer the specific question I asked you 4 times?
Pardon? Say it again.
Jesus, everyone is so thick. You're worse than Jane. Could you...
Thick.
You are oh God, you're thick. If you're not thick, you're rude. Which one is it? You're either thick or rude. Which one is it, Jace?
Neither.
Okay. Well, in that case, you'll do me the great pleasure of answering the specific question I asked you 4 times. What was it?
So
catch me out now. So I've heard that much. You come out with loads of spiel.
Could you answer the question I've asked you 4 times?
And ask me again.
Here we go. Would you agree that pickaninny, a widely recognised racist term of subjugation used towards people of colour, would you agree that that is a racist term?
Well, now you've told me it's a racist term, then I would agree it's a racist term.
Okay, so now you have to, ipso facto, Jason's going to take the country forward and all of that. Ipso facto...
I don't believe that Boris Johnson's a racist.
Okay.
Under no circumstances.
Ipso facto, so you agree that pickaninny is a racist term. Ipso facto, you have to agree that Boris Johnson has used a racist term.
He may have well used a racist term.
No.
Have you ever said anything that you've regretted?
No. Let's focus on the specifics of the question. Focus on the specifics of the question.
You're picking people up on specifics.
I like facts and specifics. Here's the thing, Jason. I have used...
If we all say things that we regret.
Okay, that wasn't the question.
I know that
wasn't the question.
Isn't a racist.
That wasn't the question.
He's the best Prime Minister we're going to ever have. He's going to lead.
He's been in it for 2 days. He's been in it for 2 days. His brother's quit. His brother's quit his career because of that.
Does it?
Okay, all right, Jason. You're not really up to it, mate. But thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
He's a nice fella.
Here's the thing. This is what happens when you take 2 days off. We got loads of phone calls from people who want to argue about bloody Brexit. This is Talk Radio.
Kick off your slippers. Don't go to bed. The party is just starting. You can sleep when you're dead. The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have 2 nights off. The show goes to shit. Thanks whoever filled in for us. We went, Kath and I had a great night off last night. We went to see Clinton Baptiste.
We did.
Live in Luton. Go and see him on tour. He is funny. There's so many bits.
So talented. He
Yes.
talks to the spirits.
Oh, yes.
And, well, I don't want to spoil it for you, so I won't, but...
The spirits entered him live on stage.
He did get entered several times.
Some show. Clinton Baptiste. We're trying to get him on at some point. Some show. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. You ready for some more?
I mean, do we have to?
Do we have to drop the hashtag we don't do Brexit? Because it sounds like we're doing Brexit. Jesus. Let's go to, good evening, Tony.
Hello.
Hello, Tony.
Yeah, hello.
Are you on speakerphone, mate?
No, I've turned it off.
Good lad. What you got for us, Tony?
Stop you getting on your high horse straight away.
Oh, I live on a high horse. I sleep on it.
Yeah, I know you do. Listen, I don't know whether you're having a bit of a bad day today, yeah, but if you are, you shouldn't be on a radio station trying to antagonise people, yeah? Because you wouldn't talk to people like that in the street. Because if you spoke to me like that in the street today, I'd lay you on your back straight away, I'm telling you. You're arrogant, yeah? Stop it. Stop being arrogant. Go back to the person that you normally are on a radio station, and I enjoy listening to. I don't know what it is about you tonight. You're having a bit of a bad one.
What's my name?
Lay off it, yeah?
What's my name?
What do you mean, what's your name?
What's my name?
Oh.
Do you know my name?
Do you know what? Do you know what?
Do you know my name?
Do you know what?
Do you know you said you've listened to the show. You said you've listened to the show before and you're a big fan. What's my name?
Yeah. Iain Lee.
There we go. All right, he's listened. Great. Don't speak to me like that. Don't phone me up. Don't threaten violence thinking you're the biggest. Shut your face. Shut your face. Do you think you're the tough man phoning up, threatening violence? They can't hear you, Tony, because I don't allow violent thugs to come on my show and think you solve an argument by threatening violence. Oh, you're a tough man. Oh, you've got a deep, gravelly voice. Oh, you're going to punch me and knock me on my back. That shit doesn't wash with me, Tony. I like intelligent conversation. I like debate. I like a little bit of fun. Idiots that phone up and threaten violence do not get on my show. I am trying to create a better world. Yeah, put the phone down, boy. I am trying to create a better world where violence as a way to solve an argument? You absolute lunatic. You pudding. Stop listening to this. This isn't for you. This is for intelligent, artistic people. The best you can do is, I'm gonna lay you out on your back. I'll grow up, mate. You're lucky I don't send that recording to the police. That's an actual threat of physical violence? You're so lucky that I don't send that clip to the police. And if I do get attacked by anyone, they're going to be knocking on your door because we've got your phone number. You've threatened to lay me out. So if anyone does attack me, that's it, mate. You're in trouble. Grow up. We're not 12. We're better than that, right? We don't threaten physical violence. You want to have an argument? You want to tell me you disagree with me? Beautiful. That's fine. I'll listen. But I'm not going to listen to you threatening to lay me out, you absolute pudding. Let's go to Des. Good evening, Des.
Good evening. Oh, whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa there.
The wolf pack is out tonight.
Isn't it?
The far right, these little Englanders, these nutcases. Mind you, I should try and be charitable. Some of them have probably got sad and lonely lives, and they're just sounding off at you, and you have been the icon, the anti-icon.
The anti-icon, I like that. I'm the anti-icon.
Yeah. But it's not good, I mean, they're talking over... This is... I think this Brexit, I'm not going to go into the politics of it. I've got my views, just like you have, and that's not for this show, as some of these idiots don't recognise, you know. But they're just threatening violence, though. It's that picture game. It's people turning this pitch up when you speak truths, when you're speaking truth, you know what I mean? And probably a little bit of a vino. I think poor Jane, the lady at the beginning, you know,
it's all Jane's fault. We need to send Jane back. We need to close the borders to Jane's. not the Indian religious group.
She wants to remain in this country, so she'll be all right then, won't she?
She'll be all right. Des, thank you very much for your kind words. Let's go to Kathy. Good evening, Kathy.
Oh, hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. I'm just a bit concerned that, as you've not been here for 2 days, what the hell has happened to the IQ of the listeners?
Hasn't it seemed to have dropped dramatically? I would have thought if we'd have been away a week, like it was looking like at one point, then, yeah, you maybe expect that. But 2 days, Catherine?
I don't think there are people.
No.
I can't do this. I can't do it. I don't even know how to say words properly. We're leaving the country. I thought it was about the EU.
Here's my thing. In case you missed it the other day, Kathy, here's the thing. It's only the second time I've said it on radio, and the first time I said it was because someone asked me, right? This is what I think about Brexit. Yes, I voted to remain. Yes, I don't think it's a great idea for the country. I suspect we'll be worse off if we leave. But I think we should probably leave because that's what people voted for, and I'm a fan of democracy. There you go. That's my opinion. So everyone shouting at me for being a Ramona and no, I voted to remain. Yeah, that's why I wanted to answer Jane's question with some caveats that saying yes how I voted 3 years ago is almost irrelevant to what not irrelevant actually, but it's more important what I'm thinking now. And I'm thinking, yeah, we should probably leave, even though I suspect we will all be a little bit worse off. But no one lets you explain these nuances, Kathy.
No, I mean, okay, I wanted to remain too, but we voted and thought it's with such a narrow margin as well.
Yeah.
But it's what we voted for, so if we're going to do it, let's get on and do it. But this woman seemed to believe there was 4 or 5 options on the ballot paper. I only had 2.
I must have had one of the different ballot papers, because I only saw 2 as well. I listen, and this is the problem, and we've talked about this on the show. Everyone is getting so angry. I mean, the guy threatening to punch me? That's insane.
It's... they're all reading a specific newspaper, I think, because it's just absolutely ludicrous.
Kathy, thank you very much for moving on, because I just want to get one more call in before we go to the news. Good evening, Chris.
Oh, hello, Ian. How are you doing?
I'm very, very well, Chris. What have you got for us this evening?
Good. Nothing to do with Brexit.
Oh, mate, you know this is the home of Brexit. Hashtag home of Brexit.
And have you been forced to do that? Are you being paid extra to talk about Brexit?
No, we didn't get paid. Here's the thing, me and Kath don't work. We don't get paid. So while we enjoyed our nights off, our paychecks this month will be 2 shows lighter, you know, so...
It's good because, I mean, I've got 2 children and one of them gets the school shoes this year. The other one will just have to wait.
And I've got to buy more cocaine. So it really is... I'm joking.
Yeah, what is the price of cocaine going up or down? I don't know.
Let me just say, when I had my little relapse, I was shocked at the increase in price over between 13 years. Anyway, that's by the by. So, Chris, what have you got for us this evening?
Nothing interesting. Let's talk about computer games, Ian.
Yes, mate!
Yeah.
Don't assume, but carry on.
Well, I think you yawned the other night when
maybe you were boring. Carry on.
Chris, Catherine, my God, there we go. Catherine is angry that Catherine is jealous that I've been able to shout at the last 3 or 4 callers. She wants her turn.
I don't like people assuming things.
You're correct. Let's go, Chris.
Continue.
What have you got?
First of all, I was disappointed not to make it to the podcast the other night.
That's the way it goes. Maybe Catherine was
talking
right.
about Rocket League. I thought Rocket League was a great subject.
Okay, well, not everyone gets on.
For late night radio.
Not everyone gets on.
Okay, you're eating into your time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about...
Give us a call when you know what you want to talk about. Thank you very much. Let's go to Steve. Good evening, Steve.
Yeah, hello, Ian. I come from a background of 22 years in the service, and I actually didn't think that when we had the referendum, for 1 second, that we would vote to leave the European Union. It's a big surprise to me. I didn't vote. I could have voted, obviously, but I was out of the country at the time, very busy. And on the day of the announcement, I was actually in France in a place called Asnals on Gold Beach. It's a big shock to me. Clearly a big shock to the politicians that not got over it. The reality is, if we don't leave now, in my opinion, it really will be very bad for this country from the perspective of the Europeans, because they've seen all of this play out, and they're really going to hold us to the candle. I think.
Can I ask,
so far
Steve?
Down the road now.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If you had to, right? If you had to, and they were all still here with us, if you had to fight one of the Beatles, which one do you think you could take out the quickest, using your military training?
Probably John Lennon.
Steve, thanks very much for your call. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
From
life story. Oh, yeah, some bands. Yum, bum, 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 bum. Da, 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 da. What a song, what a band. The new album is a joy. An absolute joy. I say there's always that hesitancy when you put on a new album by a band you like. And sometimes bands get it so wrong, but Jake has got it right. That's Sparkle. That's an old one. My Life Story, World Citizen is the album. Okay, we're off for 2 days. For 2 days. Because of Brexit. And we come back, and it's turned into Tommy Robinson FM. We've got to clean the streets, Catherine.
Okay, here's the deal.
Just for violence
anyone
tonight.
Who's new to us,
yes.
You can come on and talk about whatever you want, but...
We don't do Brexit.
Well...
we can.
Come on for a conversation. What we don't do is open the floor to speak monologues. And if you say something, we'll ask you about it. I think that's fair enough, isn't it?
Be open to scrutiny. Be open to scrutiny.
Scrutiny means questions. Just checking.
And I'd like to, for the rest of the show, thank you to Ollie for this. Who goes there? Friend or foe, Jake?
Hello?
Yes. Friend or foe?
Neither, Ian. Just a neutral.
Okay, neutral, and neutral is in our midst. Okay. All right, what you got for us, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of agree with you. Was it Mary or June, or the person the lady you spoke to initially that got everyone heads up?
Jane.
Jane, that's it. What I agree with you saying, you know, if you're a pacifist or a conscientious objector of some sort, or whatever, you're less leaning. Fine, that's great.
Hang on. No, Jake. I have to stop you straight away.
Go ahead.
When did I use the words pacifist, conscientious objector, or left-leaning? When did I use those words?
Well, here, you didn't, but just
right,
hear me out.
In that case, I will, Jake, I will let you go on with your point. Yeah. But you've just said that I said I was a pacifist.
No, I didn't say.
You did actually. You did.
No, I didn't.
Mate, you did. Right.
Say it back.
You actually said conscientious objector as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't say he said he was.
Okay, well then why did you mention those words? Why did you mention those words?
Because I wrongly assumed that you might be those things.
Okay, what has that got to do with what we're talking about?
Well, basically, if it wasn't for the likes of Jane and most of the people that have rang up objecting to the way you spoke to Jane, i.e. the sort of, you know, the use, you know, I use this nicely, the useful sort of idiots, the cannon fodder, that are willing to die for something that doesn't objectively exist, i.e. a nation, would we, Ian, have our freedom of speech?
Jake, first of all, freedom of speech doesn't exist. Secondly, what bollocks are you talking? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Touche, Ian. It's late. But it's a pleasure listening to you. I have to admit, I used to listen to another...
Oh, do go away, you idiot. Let's go... I've got no idea what that was about. Flippin' heck. James.
Hello.
Who goes there, friend or foe?
Friend. Most definitely.
Welcome. Quick, come in. We'll lock the doors.
I'm a little bit...
horny.
I
am.
I've been single for the last 4 years, so, yeah, we won't go into that, but, yeah, quite possibly. Hi, Kath.
Hello.
Can I just say, this is it. Chris has just tweeted me. Don't be mean. I just wanted to talk to you about anything but Brexit. Cut you off because there was about 20 seconds of dead air while you... Here's the thing. Everyone gets cut off. I had a lovely letter and a package from someone today who was upset that I cut them off because they got something wrong, and they cried for days. Everyone gets cut off. Some people are on longer than others. I've got a full switchboard. So some people, if you don't, Chris, if you're going to take it personally, then don't call. And to the other person, if you're going to take it personally, don't call. That's what the show is. Sorry, James. Just to let you know, at some point, you are going to be cut off. I hope you're okay with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely fine. I spoke to you a couple of weeks ago. If you remember, it was after Kath did a show on her own.
Yeah. She did what?
She did a show on your show on her own.
What? I didn't give permission for that.
And if you remember, I was about to say, oh, she did really good, and you should take more time off, and you cut me off.
Oh, I remember this guy, Bumlick, Kath Bumlick.
Yeah. And I was telling you about when I spoke to you on Absolute Radio. Back in sort of
You're like an apprentice Rainbow George. What have you got for us tonight?
Well, I think it's brilliant the way you're handling all these, I don't know what to, Brexit Muppets is all I can describe them as.
But there are remaining Muppets. There are Muppets in every walk of life and every political side. There are Muppets everywhere. I've not had anyone who voted Remain threaten to beat me up yet, but that could still potentially happen.
Well, I mean, I voted Remain, and
Can I be honest? Can I be honest with you, James?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't really care. I don't really care about Brexit. I don't really care. We've been off for 2 days while people talked about politics, and we've come back and someone's walked shit all through my house, and it's taken me absolutely ages to get it out of the carpets. That's what it feels. Do you know what I mean, Catherine?
Get some more vanish, yeah.
So, I honestly, and with respect and love, I don't care.
Yeah. I'll get to, I'll shut up about the boring
shite. Get to the meat.
I'll get to the meat and bones of the call. I was going to recommend a film.
Here we go.
To you and Kath.
Mm-hmm. Does it feature Jason Statham?
No.
I've got a box set of 6 Jason Statham films delivered to me today. It cost me £5 from Sex. Well, that's tomorrow. It's tomorrow and Sunday. Sorted. Go on, what's this film then, James?
Well, can I just say there's an echo on the line?
Yeah, I know, it's because our phone system is crap. $25 million studio. Don't worry, when we get sacked from this place, which is inevitable, we'll hopefully go to a station that's got a phone system that works.
Nice. Alright, yeah, so it's called Cashback.
Cashback?
Cashback.
Go on. Is it what? It's about Switch cards in Tesco?
Switch.
Switch.
No, it does involve a supermarket, but, bear with me if I'm not completely...
Get to the point, man! Get to the point! I've got you waffling! I've got Chris going, oh man, you just dissed me on air! I didn't diss you on air! Please, get to the point!
Yeah, it's called Cashback, and it's about this guy, who, he breaks up with his girlfriend and he has trouble sleeping.
Yeah.
And so he gives his spare 8 hours of every night to work in a supermarket, and it's just a really weird film. I'm into these kind of indie art house movies.
I like the sound of it. I'm into those kind of films. I like films that are a little bit. Is it slow? Because I like slow.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on to.
But I'll tell you one of the people it's got in it who I am quite a big fan of. You know Amelia Fox? She plays the pathologist in Silent Witness.
And I'm out.
Oh, okay, go on, well, carry on, I'm still in. I don't know who this person is.
Oh, okay. Have you ever seen Silent Witness?
No, sir.
Oh, right, okay. Well, it's quite good. I've seen the last 2 or 3 series.
Here's the problem I have with Silent Witness, right? And I watch it all the time.
I'm off now.
I watch it all the time, and at the end of every single one, I go, "Oh man, what? How much of my life have I lost?" But I fall for it every time. She never ties her hair back. She interferes with cases. She's not a police officer. She has some of the witnesses sleeping on her sofa. Sometimes she has it off with them.
That is inappropriate.
I think that is not procedure, and as a result, I don't think it's a very good documentary.
It's,
Here's my problem with the actress in question, right? I used to know her. I used to be friends with her. Used to be friends with her.
Right.
Yeah. And, as you know, James, I like looking after wildlife, right? And I have a lot of wildlife that kind of comes around to my house and stuff. And I used to have a little kind of creature that would come up and I'd feed it cat food and stuff. A little fox, called it Basil. Alright, that's not original. We call it Basil. And then one weekend, my good friend Amelia was she just came to stay at my house, and I said, look, I'm going to be away, but there's a key under the doormat. You make yourself home. There's PlayStation, there's the Wi-Fi, all this stuff.
She's into that, yeah.
She's into that. Then I came back, She left on the Sunday. I came back on the Monday, and Basil would normally turn up at dusk, about 6:30. Didn't turn up on the Monday. Didn't turn up on the Tuesday. Didn't turn up on the Wednesday. And I was getting, and I thought, oh, whoa. So I phoned up a mutual friend of ours, and I said, do you know what's happened to Basil? And he said, yes, when the actress lady came round, she made Amelia Fox. She ate your fox. She made Amelia Fox. He was an Italian. Yes, she made Amelia.
Don't do the voice. That makes it worse.
Amelia Foxy.
That's so bad it's good.
Thanks very much for your call, James.
You're half right.
Let's go to Martin. Good evening, Martin.
Hello, bye, Iain.
Hello?
Hello, mate, you alright?
I'm very well. Yes. What can we do for you?
Well, I'm just thinking of laughing head off. It's coming to people you've had on the phone here in the house.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know, just a lot of people are so blind to what's going on. I've just laughed me head off the way.
There's a lot of people that phone in and you just can't understand what they're saying.
Oh, mate, sorry, I'm putting it out as well. I've had a few drinks, not here, but honestly, I've been laughing my head off at you knocking that old lady to shreds. It was funny as hell.
Well, Martin, you're very kind. I don't think I ripped her to shreds. I just, you know.
You asked her some questions.
We asked her some questions. Go on.
No.
Don't then talk radio.
Dead of Night discourse for disco queens,
I'm related to Jedwood and Dolly Parton.
dairy farmers, and distant fathers.
Yeah, whatever.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee.
Doing lots of things that we don't know about, we can't control.
On Talk Radio.
Yes, great.
I like your coconuts.
Thank you.
Not yours.
Oh. Okay.
There's debate over the front pages of The Sun and the Scottish Sun. Have you seen this?
Yeah, I've seen.
The Scottish Sun, it's a great headline. The Sun is very anti-Corbyn, pro-Johnson. The Scottish Sun, Floppy Johnson can't get an election. That's a great headline, isn't it?
Is that real, though?
Huh?
Is that real?
Yeah, that's real. Floppy Johnson can't get an election. That's a great... Pete asked a good question. I like Pete. I find Pete makes me laugh a lot and he gets me thinking sometimes. Here's the thing I'm wondering. Would the show be less impacted if you two were in doing a news show for 2 nights, or would it be more impacted because you were the same people talking about it the night before? Here's the thing. So we should explain it. We were off for 2 nights because it was big deals going on in Brexit land. I suspect we'll probably be off on Monday, although we've heard nothing to say that. But I suspect, because I think they get prorogued on Tuesday. I think there's a big vote going on Monday. I'm not totally sure. I think there might be a lot of filibustering as well. So thanks to Pete actually, who said on Tuesday this week, are you on tonight? Are you taking games into the office? I forgot that they were coming back to Parliament. So I texted the boss and said, what's the deal? And he said, we want to do a news show tonight. And we want to talk about Brexit. And I said, okay, well, then I won't do it. He said, you can do it if you want.
Exactly, right? So
he gave us the chance. And I said, do you know what? If it's a one-off, I'm going to pass, because we will get all of our lovely, lovely callers. You get Alan Caddick phoning up. You'd get all of the wonderful people. Oh, yes, please. You get all of the wonderful people that we have phoning up. And I said, as a one-off, I couldn't give you the show you wanted.
No, because they would be ringing up expecting to do their thing, right?
I said, if it became a longer-term thing, then we could talk. But as a one-off, it just wouldn't work.
Because the deal is, right, we've done straight shows before. We've always found a way to do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we can do it.
In an unusual way, but also, you know...
Yeah.
But to do the show they want on paper. We can do it.
Yeah.
The question is, for one night...
Didn't fancy it. And I said it wouldn't be the show that you wanted because of the people calling, which is fine. Then Wednesday, I guess it was Wednesday we weren't asked. We just told we're going to carry on doing another news show, and it was great because I had a night off. We went and saw Clinton Baptiste, which was great. I had a cheeky Nando's, living the dream. And then today I texted boss and said, are we in tonight? I said, yeah, you're in tonight. It looks like things are calming down a little bit. So it looks like we're in tonight. It looks like we're in tomorrow, which is great because we've got Dennis LeCorrier coming on tomorrow, playing a new track off his. Off his new album, world exclusive. I don't know why I was saying any of this. I don't quite know what we were talking about there.
That's why we weren't in.
That's why we weren't in. But it's interesting. Just everyone just stay calm, because this next call could be a little bit feisty. Oh, let's just go to it. Jane's called back. Good evening, Jane.
Good evening.
What would you like to say?
Well, I was just seeing if you were prepared to apologise for calling me Beck and uneducated and everything else, really.
It's a little bit muffled. I'm struggling to hear you, and I'd like to. I don't know if you're doing anything different with the phone.
Well, no, I can hear you clearly.
No, I know you can hear me. But we're struggling to hear you slightly.
Well, can you hear me now?
That's better. Yeah. Whatever you did, keep doing that. Sorry, what did you say? We couldn't quite make out what you said.
Oh, well, you'll hear it this time. I'd like an apology for calling me stupid, ignorant, uneducated. And I'd like an apology, really. The more I've sat and thought about what you said, I think that you're very out of order, really. Because I was defending Boris Johnson in my right.
It's your right to do, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You called me stupid.
Yes, I did.
Uneducated.
That's correct.
And sick. And to be honest, I disagree with that, and I've taken it very personally, and I would like an apology, a personal apology from you.
Okay, Jane.
Because I'm highly educated.
Okay.
I'm not a stupid person.
What university did you go to?
I don't need to go to. I went to the University of Life, but I was privately educated as a youngster.
Okay. Well, Jane, I
went to private education until I went to secondary school, and it was my choice to come out of private education.
Jane,
because they couldn't offer me what I wanted to do in my future.
Okay, Jane,
but I do have a degree, and I do have a city in girls in community care and personal care about the people in the community.
Jane, I am very sorry, but I'm not going to give you an apology for those things.
Well, I think you ought to, because I'm not sick, I'm not stupid, and I'm highly educated. I have an opinion.
You have an opinion, but it's born out of ignorance. Your opinion is born out of ignorance.
Well, I'm sorry. I disagree with that.
I accept your apology. I'm glad you've apologised. Thank you. I accept it.
You need to apologise to me for the things that you said.
Jane, I accept your apology. Thank you.
Well, you need to apologise to me.
Well, no, I'm not going to.
I think you did at the beginning of the conversation, did you not?
No, I didn't.
Yes, I think you said you were sorry for something.
Jane, here's one thing that they didn't teach you at whatever school it was you went to. They didn't teach you listening.
Well, you're not listening either, are you?
Pardon?
I said you're not listening either, are you?
Pardon?
That's why you've got a pardon.
Pardon?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. All right, Jane.
So what? So the thing is, at the end of the day, you must not be abusive to people when they call you.
Yes, I can be. You must
have a right to abuse people like that.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to be abusive to black people by calling them pickaninnies. I'm not going to be abusive to people of colour by defending people who call them pickaninnies. Yeah, you can phone up. You've got your free speech. It doesn't really exist. It's a myth. I got mine.
Bully.
She's still going, not listening to a word we're saying.
You're a total bully. And you know something, you're not even listening now, even after I've rang you to try and sort this problem out.
Jane, it's nice to talk to you. Thanks for your second call. I suggest go to bed, okay?
Well, I suggest that you give your job up.
Well, I'm not going to do that. She's put the phone down. There we go. Let's go to Paul. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening. Oh,
oh, that's what we need. We need a voice. We need a nice, relaxing voice of reason, and that's why we come to you.
Yes, the agreements. Let's think about those, shall we?
Well, I'm still coming down from all of these derogative phone conversations. My God.
The point I wanted to make earlier was that there is a great clip of the MP for Slough, who is a Sikh gentleman, really, really holding Boris Johnson to account. Now, whatever you may think of Boris Johnson, it is a beautiful, Tammanjeet Singh Desi is his name. It's a beautiful bit of I want to say oratory skill. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Does that phrase it properly? It's beautiful. And there's a little bit where he wobbles in the middle. You can tell he's nervous, because it's a big old moment to stand up there. And, you know, quite often the question, I just want to say, I think the Prime Minister's doing a great job, so to stand up there and say what he said, and it's on Twitter and it's on YouTube, go and watch it, it really is, even if you disagree with what he's saying, it's a really powerful moment of someone addressing someone in authority. Whether you agree or not, it's done beautifully, it's done respectfully, it's done politely, and it's a really powerful 2.5 minute thing. I think it's great. Anyway, sorry, Paul, go on.
No. Well, I mean, this kind of ties into what I was provoked into calling to discuss, the whole issue of racism. Some weeks ago, I started listening to an audiobook by a colour called Natives, and as I listened to it, I thought the first thing I thought to myself, from various triggers, I thought I must ring and recommend this book to Iain and Kath.
Right, go on, because your book's recommendations are excellent. I'm going to go straight on to a very well-known book supplier that is destroying the high street. Give me this book again.
It's called Natives, and it's by Akala.
There we go. I got it. Is that how I would pronounce that? Akala. I don't listen. I don't want to. Hey, listen, man. I don't want to fall out with you over it. I don't. This is the thing. You're an idiot. You said a colour, and I think. Okay, very good.
I would say a colour.
I would say Arcala. Arcala. That's how you spell Arcala in the Cubs, right? Or is it?
I never spelt it.
Okay, right. Well, it's ordered now. Wow. Now we can argue. Go.
Well, no. I mean, it's just. I mean, he addresses racism head on.
Yeah.
No holds barred. It's you will take stock. There are moments in the course of that book where you'll think, "Oh my God." Probably the most poignant moment for me was when he mentioned this kind of understanding that as a black man walking into a shop, and you know, I have done this for years. Kind of not consciously, nobody's told me to do this, but I do it. When I walk into a shop, I stand as far away from the produce as possible. And if I have to linger for any reason, you know, if my wife's doing some shopping, I will do so as far away from anything that could be potentially stolen as I possibly can, with my hands always in view.
Wow, really?
For those who don't know, yeah. Paul is a person of colour. You're saying you're saying because people might think you're stealing stuff.
Yeah, and you know,
gosh,
I've been again waiting for my wife in a very well-known high street store, which I won't mention, and being approached by. I was standing against a pillar, and I was approached by a female security guard who asked me to move because I was, and I quote, a fire hazard.
What a peculiar thing to say to a black man.
Were you wearing a lot of polyester? Because otherwise...
No, I doused myself in petrol and I was holding a naked flame.
They'll do it.
All right, let me...
Well, how bizarre.
Let me ask. So this thing of... I have not seen this of people of colour. I'm unaware of this. I'm certainly going to keep my eye open. Has anyone... Now, this is going to sound really dumb, but I like to ask dumb questions. This is purely instinctive that you've been doing this. No one has said to you, listen, son, no one's had that conversation suggesting you stand away from things that could be shoplifted. This is purely instinctive.
Purely instinctive.
Okay.
You will understand much more about how I have come to this place when you read the book. The thing is, you know, he is the voice in my head that I have lived with my whole life and not realized.
Gosh.
He is, and in quotes, the system and the way it is engineered to suppress the freedom, albeit in an unconscious, but pernicious way the kind of, well, independence and freedom of people of colour. It's unconscious for many of us, most of us, but it's rampant in society, even today, in the 21st century.
Oh, you say even today. I mean, especially today, you know, it's coming back, man. I'm laughing out of fear. The wheel is turning and it's coming back. Racism is coming back in vogue.
This phrase, you can't say anything these days. I wish someone would tell the people that are saying everything, because there's no holding back in a lot of quarters.
Well, there used to be. I remember 6, 7, 8 years ago, people would say, we can't say anything these days. And what it meant was, generally, in terms of a phone-in show, they wanted to slag off Muslims. That's what it generally meant, because
And they didn't want to get pulled up for
Yeah, they didn't want to get pulled up in it. But that barrier went, I would say 4 years ago, maybe 3 with Brexit, 4 years ago, that barrier went, and the people started saying anything they wanted to say to phone-in shows. There was no hesitancy where there had been before, and people say whatever they want about black, Asians, Muslims, say whatever they want to say about them now. There's no, you know, Albanians, there's none of, I preferred it when people would say, well, I can't really say what I want to say because you'll pull me up, because then you at least go, all right, you're a racist dick. But they wouldn't.
But also, there was a thought in their head somewhere that what they're saying wasn't approved of.
Yeah, but now it's like anything goes, man.
Just saying what everyone's thinking.
Anything goes.
And here's the other thing. White people don't get to decide what's racist and what isn't. Just because it doesn't offend you, of course it doesn't offend you.
It's that...
You're a white person. You know, Paul, what you're saying to me is there are things that are ingrained in your behaviour that you didn't even realise were there.
Yeah,
so how on earth is, you know, for example, me, a middle-class 41-year-old white woman, going to be able to see things that you're only just discovering yourself?
Here's the great argument. White people always say, why do black people get upset with the N-word? I don't mind if they call me a honky. Well, honky is not, you know, honky is like a joke word. It's not had the centuries of coming from people in a position of power over people who have no power. Yeah. You know, it's not, doesn't have the same connotation at all. It's like saying, why do black people get so upset with the N-word? I don't mind if I get called an apple. It's just like, there's no connection.
Because you haven't been belittled with words the same. That's why.
No. Paul, the book is ordered. I'm afraid I've got a long old list of books.
2 books are ordered. I've got one too.
Okay. All right, there we go. This is what we do.
We'll read it at the same time.
I've got a long old list of books I've got to read and stuff, but,
Well, I'd invite everybody to read this book. Educate yourself. I mean, it's an opinion, but, you know, very much of what he talks about is his own personal experience or historically, you know, a matter of record.
But again, here's the problem. The only white people that are going to read that are the white people that are not, who are doing their best not to behave in certainly not behaving in overtly racist ways, and want to better themselves with the kind of the stuff that they might be doing subconsciously. They're the only people that's going to read that book.
You're right. The ones that don't listen and just hear people talking about race and go, race car. I mean, as soon as someone says to me, oh, it's the race card, I go, okay, thanks very much. That's a little red flag for me.
Yeah. But
useful.
I'm gonna read it, Paul. I'm gonna read it to my kids as a bedtime story.
Wonderful.
That'll learn. Paul, always nice to talk to you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. 0344 499 1000. We've got so many people who've been waiting for so long. I can only apologise. It's been one of those nights, one of those lonely nights. It's the Eagles, isn't it?
Crazy nights. Not lonely nights.
No, your Crazy Nights is Kiss. Lonely Nights. We didn't do bands that we'll do it tomorrow. Bands that changed their names whilst they were famous.
Oh my God, that's going to be so divisive. Angry phone in.
I tell you why we'll do this tomorrow, so don't phone in today. But I tell you why, because I was sat thinking about when Curiosity Killed the Cat became Curiosity. And I remember seeing them on like Pebble Mill at 1 as Curiosity and thinking, well, that's weird. Why have they done that? And then, anyway, so we'll do that. That's tomorrow's show. Let's go to Dean. Good evening, Dean.
Hi, Ian.
Hello, Dean. What you got for us, mate?
Do you know Westlife, where you used to be Street Life years ago?
They were, but I don't know if I can include that because they were Street Life before they were famous. It was just as they got famous that they changed it to Westlife. So I'm not sure. I can accept that.
Right, I rung you up a few weeks ago before you went off, and you took I always on Twitter and Facebook that we're having a go sometimes, and I really regret it now.
Yeah.
Because you and Kath, I've carried on listening to you, and I've just broke up from a 12-year relationship, and the advice you gave me that night really rang true. Well, from what I'm going through now, 'cause I've split up from my partner for 12 years. And I've finally found a newfound respect for you and Kath, and for what you've gone through yourself, the relationship, it really ran true from what I'm going through now.
So, I'm sorry, so hang on, I missed the beginning. So, do you used to be rude about me and Kath online?
Online, yeah.
You're not the guy that said we played too much music, are you?
Yeah. Yeah. I am, yeah.
Dean, wow. Yeah. You have, I am so touched.
I'm so sorry for that.
Apology accepted, brother. Apology accepted. I'm so touched that you have phoned up. I remember you really, really well. You used to be furious that we played music.
Yeah, I was, yeah. And
I'm so humbled and touched that you have phoned up to say sorry. I've got tears forming in my eyes because I know how angry you were with this show.
Yeah, I was.
And that takes a really big human being. I'm welling up. Yep. Apology is accepted, brother. Apology is accepted and welcomed and embraced. And that is behind us now, so you don't ever need to apologise for that ever again, alright? That is behind us.
Yeah.
How are you doing now?
Not very well. I'm living in a 2-bedroom house. My partner's left me, and I feel like I'm going to be made homeless anytime soon.
Are you struggling with the payments?
Yeah.
Ah, man, I'm sorry.
I'm not asking. We've got through the upset and the shouting and the bawling and everything else, and I've said stuff on social media that.
Don't worry about whatever you've said to us. It's gone. It's history. It's gone. Don't worry about that. I want you to sort out whatever you need to sort out. Have you got anything positive in your life at the moment?
Apart from the local doctors, no. No, not really.
Ah, mate. In terms of a relationship breakup, you know I got divorced and stuff.
Yeah,
It gets better. It's lousy for a long old time, but it gets better. That I can promise you. I don't know how long it will take, but I promise you.
Tell him about the swimming pool.
All right. So my mate Andy Partridge told me a great thing when I was getting divorced. He said, Ian, when you get divorced, he said it's like you're stood in the deep end of a swimming pool that is full of shit. Right, and you can't see, and it's 5 foot above your head, and you're covered in it, and you're walking forward, really, really slowly, and you're trudging forward, and at some point you eventually realise, oh, my head's popped out, and I can see, and I can breathe, and you keep walking forwards, and finally you're able to get to the end of the shallow end, you can climb out of the swimming pool, you go and have a shower, and that's it. It's a memory.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long it's going to take you, brother, but you will get there.
Because it's taken a while because I have been to doctors and people like that, and they said after a long-term relationship, it can be like a bereavement.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
I just had a lot of pent-up aggression, and I let it out on the wrong people, like you, other people, other things, and I didn't mean to do that, and I really didn't. I just bring it up to apologise tonight, and that you and Kath didn't deserve it. I did it on Twitter, I did it on Facebook, and I'm bringing up. I'm not going to be the biggest guy. I apologise because I was so time. I didn't mean it. That's all. And tonight, okay, I might have had a couple of drinks, but I mean it.
I'm so moved by this call, Dean, and what you have shown. Remember you so well. What you've shown is that you're a good man. and you've got a good heart. And
I've done a lot of bad stuff and all.
yeah, I've done a lot of bad stuff. I try not to do it anymore, and I try and make amends like you've just done. You're going to be all right, Dean. You're a good man.
Yeah.
I wish you the very best of luck, and I cannot tell you in words how much this phone call means to me. Honestly, it means so much. I'm going to be thinking about this for a long time afterwards.
All right, Ian, I'm sorry anyway.
Thank you, Dean. I look forward to speaking.
We'll not carry on. I'll never do it again.
Dean, don't you
won't have to do a brilliant job on Saturday on that. You carry on.
You don't have to mention it again. It's done. It's over. It's forgotten. I look forward to our next call, Dean.
Yeah, okay, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks,
Take
Dean.
care.
Set free your mind. Let your fancy take flight. Conversation gets curiouser by the glow of moonlight. The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
I'm going to be thinking about that call for a long, long time. Thank you, Dean. Look forward to your next call about life or whatever. And we are so cool. That is the most gracious apology I've ever had, and the most surprising. The most surprising. Why can we smell weed?
It's coming
Can you smell it as well, James, through there? Okay, good, right. Because I could smell it, and
Maybe
sometimes I imagine
it.
Sometimes I imagine it, and then Kath went, I can smell weed. And now James is, it's got to be coming through the aircon. It's not Rupert, is it? Is it? I can say these kind of things. I don't think we're going to be here in the new year. I just, someone somewhere is holding in this building, and they're holding near the aircon. Move away from the aircon, guys, please. What a show. What a show tonight. I'm not saying that from a place of arrogance. It's not really been dictated by us. It's been dictated by a great guest and some amazing calls.
And the way it's gone full circle from a jolly first hour, rather aggressive second hour, and then
beautiful third. That
third bit, and you know, Dean, really appreciate that the fact that you had the balls to do that. What a brilliant thing. Thank you. It does mean something, you know, as much as we pretend that people being shitty online is water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
It isn't really.
Chris, I'm going to ask you to just stop tweeting the same stuff again and again, because that's what gets you muted. So I'm not having a go. I'm just saying, man, just saying. Let's go to Steve. Good evening. So everyone's been waiting for so long. Some of you have been waiting for over an hour. I really apologise. I'm going to get through. If you're on the phones, I'm going to speak to you before Paul Ross at 1 o'clock. Steve.
Hi, Ian. How you doing?
I'm very well, Steve. What you got for us?
I was just musing over the Beatles, which one I would take on in a fight if I really
all
had to.
four Beatles were here. I should have asked the former soldier, which one he would struggle with, which one he would go for last. Go on then, Steve. All four Beatles are alive. You've got to take one out using just no weapons. No weapons. Of course. Who's it going to be?
Well, I was thinking, I'm not a violent man, never really had a fight before, but say I scratched the yellow submarine or something, and they got a bit upset, and they said, you've got to take one of us on, we're pretty cheesed off. I think I'd choose George Harrison.
Now, why do you say that? Because tell me first of all why you think that.
Well, I think he's maybe my favourite Beatle in many ways. I love, my guitar gently weeps.
Yeah.
And, Here Comes the Sun and everything.
Yeah.
But I think because he's such a peace lover, I think he would sort of not fight back.
Catherine, correct. Now, Steve is locked into this battle now. There's no escaping it. Catherine, tell him why he's backed the wrong Beatle.
He'd have got stuck in. He would have got stuck in.
Really?
You know what happened to him in his house?
No.
He would have got stuck in, and then his wife would have waded in.
Who's that, Barbara?
Olivia.
He got an intruder, stormed into his house about 1999, I want to say, and in the middle of the night, and shouted from the bottom of the stairs, "I've come to kill you." Raced up the stairs with a knife. George ran out, told his wife to stay in the bedroom. His mother-in-law was upstairs, and George fought him for about 30 minutes. And the guy only got the better of him when he stabbed him in the chest 4 times. and George Harrison's lungs filled up with blood, and Olivia stood behind him, picked up the heaviest little candlestick she could find, and smacked this guy over the head several times until he was knocked unconscious.
She said she remembered her dad's baseball training. If you're going to hit it hard.
George Harrison was involved in a 30-minute battle.
Also, he had nothing to lose. George Harrison, at that time in his life, was ready to die because he was so zen.
So, I'm sorry, Steve. You've just been killed by a hippie. Steve, you've lost out, man, and we cannot speak to dead men on this show. You know the rules. Right, we're going to go through. We've got 4 more calls. Let's not take any more calls, because I think we've got plenty to get us to Paul Ross at 1. Yes, Martin, you've been on.
Hello, mate. I dropped you earlier.
Are you on speakerphone?
I'll take you off 2 seconds.
I'll take you off in a minute.
How's it going, you alright?
I'm having a time of my life. I'm getting high on the AC here, man.
Aye. No, big shout out to that Dean kid earlier. Like, I feel a bit sorry for him. I know how he feels. I'm in that sort of predicament myself. It's tough, but you just got to see through it.
It's tough, isn't it? It's tough. It gets better. Everyone who's breaking up, everyone who's about to break up, everyone who's just broken up, everyone who's a year into their whatever. I promise you, man, it gets better.
Even if you've got to speak to anyone, even if you've got to ring up a talk show and speak to people, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
speak to someone.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, Ringo Starr.
Why?
Because he's already sitting down.
Yes, mate. Martin, I think you've made the right choice because he's 6 feet down.
What's he going to do?
Well, he's got powerful arms and a lot of knuckle dusters. But you're right, he is at a disadvantage.
He has got a lot of rings on. Hence the name Ringo. And if he's sat down, he can punch you right in the stomach or the ghoulies.
Why no? But anyway, you've got. I picked up a few things for this talk show tonight, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to mention 3 little things. Well, there's one big word that's massively stood out, and it's ignorance.
From Catherine. That's a little bit rude, mate. But actually, I would agree with you in this case.
No, not from yourself.
Oh,
but
apologies.
From some of your callers and just sort of. I think it's just. There's not enough love, man.
There's not enough love. That's that. I'm gonna go with. There's not enough love.
In terms of, like, say, even when you're talking about racism, everything like that, like, say, Brexit and everything, like you say, it was only won by a very, very small percentage, and I think half of that was advertised as racism anyway. A lot of things blamed at immigrants in the papers and in the media and everything like that.
Bits
you know what I mean?
Definitely were. Yeah, bits of it definitely were. That can't be denied. Although I would never say that all Brexiteers are racist.
If the papers were twisted a different way, even in any sense, even if that might make that little 3%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everything could be a little bit different.
Go on, Kath.
I think you have to be ready to be twisted, though. You know, something that Dean said about, how he was in a bad place and he was kicking out the wrong people. I think sometimes people feel powerless in where they are in their lives, and it's easier to look outward and think someone else is doing it to you than actually think, how am I making life more difficult for myself? Is there anything I could do to sort it out from within?
You're speaking to me really, really personally there, aren't you?
No, I don't know.
But if it connects with you really, really personally, then...
I bet it was weird, that.
There you go.
Anyway.
Kath is a very wise, intuitive woman, and sometimes just gets the right...
I want to hit on a few other things.
Go on, one more, because I've got 3 more calls, and Paul Ross is coming in soon. It's a big night for Paul Ross.
I'm just going to mention 2 things.
Go.
Taranjeet Singh Deshi, what a speech, very, very powerful.
Yep.
A recent caller mentioned it before.
Brilliant.
Absolutely meant you should play it.
Yep.
A caller, it's how you pronounce it. He's a rapper. He's absolutely excellent. He takes on Tommy Robinson. Watch it.
I think he's well, if that's how he pronounced it, I think he's pronouncing his own name wrong.
Oh God, right, okay.
Martin, I've got to go because I want to get these other calls in. I really appreciate your call, mate. Thank you very much. Let's go to Chris. Good evening, Chris. Oh no, good evening, Chris.
Good evening. How are you?
We haven't got much time. We've got like a minute, Chris.
Okay, I'll speak quickly then.
Bet you don't.
I thought I was listening to LBC for the last 2 nights. What's happened?
Yeah.
I've tuned into the wrong radio station.
Yeah, that's
So I'm glad you're back on air.
We're glad to be back. Fingers crossed we're back tonight as well at 10.
And I enjoyed the first hour of the show earlier, listening to that guy you were speaking to.
Yep.
I thought I knew 80s music. and I haven't got a bleeding clue who he was.
Well, he was from the 90s, so...
That's why.
That's why. Chris, thank you very much indeed. Let's go to Alistair. Good evening, Alistair.
Hey, kids, what a Bobby Dazzler tonight.
Thank you, mate. Sorry, you've been on the phone so long, I apologise. It's been a little bit frantic, so thank you for your patience.
I understand. And I just got back from Turkey in the early hours of this morning. And my carry-on luggage was only 2.3 kilogram. But...
I like his style. I like this guy's style.
I was thinking I should apply for asylum in Turkey. Asylum?
Asylum? I thought you said an assignment. Wow, he's just a spy.
No, asylum seeker, because I thought Boris Johnson is a totalitarian man.
Yeah, okay.
But, anyway, I'll leave that.
Let's do it. Let's all go to Turkey. Oh, hang on. Turkey's a bit of a fascist dictatorship.
Even worse.
Yeah.
I know. So I've come back anyway.
All right.
But it's nice to talk to you, as always. I know you've got little time.
I've got little time, Alistair. I'm going to move on because I want to squeeze in Diana. I'm sorry to keep you waiting so long. Next time I see your name up, you're going to be the first call I go to. I promise. Good evening, Diana.
Good evening from laid-back Cheltenham. Hello, Captain.
Laid-back Cheltenham. It's laid-back in here, man. Honestly, this smell of weed is getting stronger, baby.
Well, I really enjoyed that interview with Jake.
Wasn't he great? What a night. We're getting him back in, because I was treading very carefully around the mental health thing, because you never know. You never know. And when he started opening up about it with 4 minutes to go, I thought, man, I want to spend more time with this guy. He was lovely.
I thought that the orchestration on those songs was Bond-like.
Man, it's great. The new album. Get the new album. There's a song on there, Overwinter. It's just awesome.
The Stars, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll speak to you again.
Diana, thank you very much indeed. Oh, now I've been so brisk with the calls. We haven't got any calls.
And here's Paul Ross.
Can I have an out time, please? And can I have a Paul Ross in my studios? That was good. It's weird. It's funny, isn't it, how 2 days off changes. This is the thing of this business. You always think, oh, if we ever got the sack, they'd regret that. They wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. That's the nature of the business. You always, the ego of the presenter. Oh God, if they got rid of us, they'd be making such a big mistake. No, people forget so quickly. You are, hello Paul, come in mate. So that's the nature of the business. So it's interesting coming back after 2 days away, 2 days of a newsy show replacing us to feel the anger that is there. Hello, Paul.
Good morning. Hey, I'm sorry, I've got all droopy. Not for the first time. Good morning to us. Good to see you back. We missed you.
Man, what a world we're living in at the moment. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. Kind of topsy-turvy life. The merry-go-round is spinning, so I'll be... My last show tonight on Talk Radio.
Right. What is happening?
I'm doing... effectively this show, only much better.
Yeah.
My show on TalkSport.
Okay.
Playing to my many strengths, because I am to sport what Woodrot is to Pinocchio. What the Ivory Traders have done, but I know virtually nothing about anything apart from a bit of football to the mid-80s and a tiny bit about boxing, and I'm quite big on lacrosse.
Oh, there you go. Well, the TalkSport listeners love lacrosse. If you can work croquet in there somehow, though, you know what those guys are into.
Oh, now you're true, my PG Woodhouse kind of language.
It's the nature of the business. Everyone gets shifted from slot to sister stations to all of that, blah, blah, blah. We know that's how it works, and we've had it happen to us so many times. I will miss you, brother. I think you're...
Well, I'll be around like a bad smell. I'll be lurking down and waving through the window.
No, don't come back down here. Don't meet down here. I miss you, man. I've enjoyed these handovers a lot. It's been a pleasure working with you. I think you're one of the best, and, best of luck. Best of luck.
What does Kath think, though? She's pulling...
Oh, she can't stand you.
No.
She's the one who got you... No, we both miss you, man.
Well, it's like, as you say, the merry-go-round spins.
Hey, lucky that we can pay the mortgage.
But many years ago, of course, I was working... I was a warm-up to your show at the place, at the horrible, LBC.
Yeah.
But we never actually met, because there was, between you and my show, there was like a half-an-hour weird news buffer.
There was. They used to do that, didn't they?
They must not cross the streams. That's what they were thinking.
Yeah. It's a strange old world, that. And who knows how long we're going to be here. It's just the way it goes. It's the way you got to shake your hands and go, thanks very much. Where am I next?
And on to the next.
Yeah. We've got 15 seconds. 15
minutes? Yeah. Listeners, it will feel like 15 minutes when I'm speaking.
Go on, what's on your show tonight?
On the show tonight, the usual old tosh, of course, some TV film recommendations for the weekend, and stick around and find out. And we'll be talking also, I'm hoping, a little bit about the monkeys.
Oh, you tease!
On DAB, digital radio, online and on mobile.
This is Talk Radio.